The first game we look for, Robbie. Tottenham away. When we got Tottenham away. Tottenham away. When we got Tottenham away.
Welcome to North London is ours. Boy, we had a terrible start. I do apologize. I hope everybody can find their way back to us. I know we had like 30 to 40. It was building up. Hopefully the people get the alerts that the show's on. Either or, people will jump on. Usually a lot of our people jump on later on this time anyway. So 19, look, it's building, but I do apologize for the technical difficulties. Someone on the last stream said Daniel Levy needs to contribute to Mari's internet fund from the Champions League money. I wish that was the problem, but it was something else. But as you can see, we are up and running, and we are ready to go. Stell is going to jump on. He's going to come in with weapons blazing to debate Stefan, and I would then move into a moderator role because he said he is prepared for Stefan. And so Stefan, since he's not here yet, so Stefan will go against me. But I want to give a couple of big ups to a couple of people. A user who's a big contributor to the channel. Thank you. Big up. Sunila, sorry. Evening. Big up. One of my favorites. I know you're not supposed to have favorites, but Lisa, one of my favorites. We live that Mexican life. Live from Cancun. We got to meet up for dinner, you and your family, whenever I'm back in Cancun. So yeah, we have to link up. But big up, big supporter. I know you're ecstatic. Spurs fans in Mexico going nuts. I've seen some Spurs jerseys out there, and so I know you would go nuts out there. Big up, Rich S-Men, evening all. Big up to Jeff. Big up, a good supporter of the channel. Let me see. Okay, good. Yeah, good job, guys. Yeah, good job, Stefan. I'm posting it. Like I said, we had technical difficulties. Sunila says, "Come on, Stefan, give us a smile." and then Lisa, my sister, says, "We got to link up for a game next season when you're here." Yes, we got to. And big up to the Sporting Journey. Good evening, Marvy and Stefan. Ron says, pissed off Stefan. Ron and Stefan, they know each other. They go back and forth.
Ron shouldn't talk. He's shameless. He's betted against Spurs in like 5 or 6 games now, including against Frankfurt and including against him for the final. So Ron, please don't talk.
Like I said, we're waiting for Estelle to come in. Before I say this, since now I'm all alone, just the tears, and this will be the first subject because me and Stefan, we had an argument about this. Oh, more people in there. Arsenal just a spicy Spurs. Big up, Stefan. Arteta's still in. Woo! Phil P. Champions of
Europe. Can I just before you start, I want to first say congratulations to Spurs. You guys won a trophy finally. I just want to, it was, one of the worst finals I have ever watched. Me and Mario were discussing it, but you wanted the end. That's the most important thing. Congrats. Enjoy the moment. I know the feeling. It's been 35 to 40 years of watching Arsenal winning league titles, FA Cups, winning, trophies. So this is.
Oh wow! Wait! Hold up! It's been
it really has, because the last 35 years Arsenal have dominated this rivalry. So it feels good that finally.
Wait! You guys haven't won the league in 20 years. Your last FA Cup was 5 years ago.
Yes, but
and there was a period of 7 years where we were ahead of.
Since you have won the league, Arsenal have won the league 7 times. Just FYI.
Okay.
Arsenal won the league 7 times. They have won. I think if I'm not mistaken,
what have you done for me lately?
No, I'm not making excuses. It's just it's funny to see in terms of this is football. It's all about banter. I of course I'm gonna take shit and stuff, but the reality is that this is your first major trophy in over 30 years. Your last major trophy was the FA Cup before the Berlin Wall was down. So just
Phil,
for
if I put the link on, you think you could jump on? We're waiting for Stel. If you want to jump on, and
no, they're all gonna wanna jump on, and that's fine. But just going back, congratulations. Obviously, I'm not gonna praise you, too much, because I don't think it was. I don't think it was a very good final. Man United are horrendous, horrendous. So in terms of, for me, you won it. That's the most important thing. But now the discussion must begin. You've had a better season than Arsenal, but now the key discussion for Spurs fans needs to be what's next. Will Ange stay? Will you sack him and hire somebody else? This is it's a big moment for the club.
okay.
With the party hat. I love it.
What I was going to say before I throw it to Stel, I don't even know if we have the video, but I will say this, because we had an argument. The celebrations. First of all, I was in tears. And if you saw the show, I was wasted on the show. As you can see here, I was really, really happy. But yeah, we had a debate, and the celebrations, the parade, even the stadium with the watch party in Bilbao, Symbiosis. I got confused. Stel will tell you, it was nuts. It was crazy. And lead judges said this. Arsenal and Walter Matisa, what's his name?
He was talking about Chelsea.
Yeah, they were talking about Chelsea, right? Because I remember we had a big debate, and he had said, "Oh no, Tottenham is a major club. Tottenham has a great fan support.
It's big. It's big in London."
He said it's better than Chelsea's. It's always has historically. And I remember we had a debate on WhatsApp. That celebration, even your Arsenal supporters, your fans, were like, "Wow, Tottenham, man!" And I even have a clip, well, not on here, from the supporters in Argentina, which was about 500. We'll debate it. I told you there's a huge Spurs support. It's not like Manchester United, but globally there is a strong Spurs support for various reasons. But in Argentina, there was
in London. When I lived in London, from the people I met, there was definitely more Spurs fans than Chelsea fans in London specifically. Obviously, nobody in London touches Arsenal. It's not even close. But in terms of fans, you guys definitely have, in my opinion, have more than Chelsea. Worldwide, no chance, Mari. Chelsea fans, where I've lived, I've been lucky to live in random and different places.
In America,
just in the Middle East, where I've lived, I told you, in Bulgaria, in Edinburgh, where I studied, I didn't see one Spurs shirt. In Kuwait and in Dubai, I barely saw Spurs shirts. The fan clubs for Chelsea and for Arsenal are massive in both countries, like internationally. And then Chelsea, in terms of like just the players that they've had, African players especially.
Africa, okay.
So no, in terms of international, I think Chelsea are bigger than you guys, but in London for sure, I think.
Yeah, America, I think because Dempsey.
How can you say you have a bigger fan base than Chelsea in the States when their biggest star in the last 10 years played for them?
Let me say
it's not that popular. But I don't want to get off.
Let me speak on this, right? So you've got big clubs: Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, Barca, Liverpool, Man United. These are super clubs. Then you've got a tier below: Inter Milan, Arsenal, teams like that. Spurs aren't there, but they're just below that. The thing with fan base is this: Spurs have got a huge fan base in the UK. Hear me out. And across certain places in Europe and Scandinavia. But it's been a very silent fan base. You don't see them as much because there's nothing to fucking talk about because it's been a disaster for 2 decades. So it's a very silent fan base, but it's there. It's there. What happened when the Premier League exploded in the late 90s and the early 2000s, clubs like Arsenal, Chelsea, Man United, they were the best teams in England. So the market that grew in Asia, Africa, around the world, they grabbed up a lot of fans. So Chelsea's global fan base grew quick. Same with Arsenal's. Man United's exploded. Liverpool's. Tottenham's didn't grab that market.
Liverpool internationally, I'm telling you, they're not as big as Arsenal. Internationally, apart from the Commonwealth.
Stefan, Liverpool are massive globally. They're huge, bro.
They're massive. They're a massive club in the UK. They're by far the most supported.
Abroad, they're big.
I have been in the Middle East and in Bulgaria. Arsenal are bigger in the Middle East, especially Arsenal.
No. I don't buy
that. Because of what I said.
But look, just bring it to Spurs, right?
Yeah.
We never grabbed that global market. But what we did do is we grew in America because we had Clint Dempsey, Casey Keller, Brad Friedel, and we grew the American market. Also in America, they're a bit like the Brits. They're like the underdog. So they support Spurs with the underdog. So a lot of them gravitated to us. But in the UK, we're a much bigger fan base than people realise. Yeah. And that parade showed it. We are a very big fan base in the UK. And North London,
right? 250.
Around London, Hertfordshire, Essex, there's a lot of Spurs, a lot.
Did you know which is the only country?
We're not at that top end. We're not.
But still, do you know which is when they did this very basic? It's not a very good way to kind of sample in terms of what's the biggest club. But do you know which is the only country in the world which had the most searches for Tottenham? And they kind of related that to being that there was kind of the most Spurs fans.
I bet you someone like India.
You will never guess. It was
India.
Random.
India.
I bet it's India. I bet it's India.
No. Northern Ireland. Because of Blanchflower, from what I understand. So there's
Blanchflower. Yeah.
But there's the thing I've noticed with Spurs fans, especially in the former Commonwealth countries, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, is the Spurs fans usually are generational, in which an English family moves to Australia, and then it's passed on to generations of which they're fans. Whilst with my experience in the Middle East, which you said was when the Premier League got huge. In high school, in my high school still, there were some kind of kind of bandwagoners with Chelsea when the money started coming in, but it was Man United, Arsenal.
Yeah, but Stefan, what year were you at high school?
I was in high school from 2000 and let's say 2-3 until 2012.
Right. If you look at the teams that were successful then, it was Arsenal,
Yeah.
Man United, Chelsea. So, look,
Yeah, for me, yeah. So for me, with you just said why for me in terms of what, in my opinion, why Liverpool is also quite like, for example, my dad is a Liverpool fan. If you speak to the old generational kind of in Bulgaria, in Eastern Europe, for example, where I am, most are Liverpool fans because Liverpool were great. We're the best team in the 80s. But if you speak to the younger generation, especially ones that watch Henry, for example, Van Nistelrooy, Wayne Rooney, I'm telling you, Man United and Arsenal from the younger generation are and Chelsea.
Do you know what, Stefan? Do you know what, Stefan? Right, there's having fans, then there's having fans. You can have, let's say, for example, 10 million fans around the world. When you get to a final abroad, how many are going to turn up? And that's when you see what Tottenham can do. Arsenal can do it. Arsenal can do it. United can do it. Liverpool can do it. City and Chelsea ain't doing it. They're not going to get the numbers there because a lot of the fans. I don't want to
talk about.
City, still Chelsea are huge. Still, don't underestimate Chelsea.
Stefan, they're huge, but a lot of their fans are plastic. They're only there because of glory hunting. Whereas you look at Spurs fans, there's no reason to support Spurs the last 20 years. So our fans are real. Like you know what a club's like when it comes to a big moment, how many turn up to things. And all the years I've known Spurs, when it matters, we turn up in massive numbers. Chelsea have got a far bigger fan base, but I don't class them as real fans. I don't believe they love the club. But Arsenal have got it. Your club's got it, Stefan. Arsenal. If you went to Bilbao, I guarantee you 30, 40,000 Arsenal fans.
No, still Arsenal and Man United, just for the record, beat the record for the biggest ever friendly in New York. They filled up the whole. It was. Yeah, but
a lot of that is tourists and people that live abroad that want to see their club that might not get a chance. When you get to a final, how many fans travel? And that's when you realise the quality of the fan. And Arsenal, you would get the same numbers as us. There's no doubt. I know you would. You know, when you went to look, perfect example. When Arsenal played Chelsea in Baku, Arsenal fans completely outnumbered Chelsea fans out there because their fans aren't real. Stefan, their fans aren't real like you lot. You've got real fans. Arsenal got real fans. Tottenham are the same. We've got real fans. Chelsea, they're wishy-washy. They've got their hardcore.
If we're talking locally, still, I completely agree. Locally, Spurs for me
they're the ones who will travel. They're the real fans. They're the ones that will travel. Listen, don't get me wrong. There was fans that flew from Florida that I met in Bilbao, from Germany. So I'm not saying if you don't live in London, you're not real. But the real fans, the ones, if they can afford it, of course, they will go in numbers. And every time I see a final abroad, Chelsea, City, these clubs don't have the numbers. Whereas I see Arsenal, I see Liverpool, United, Spurs.
City can't even fill up their fucking stadium.
That's what I mean.
They can't even fill up their own. City are for me the most kind of plasticky type club, even much more so than Chelsea. Because Chelsea, if you speak to, for example, where I lived in Kuwait, a lot of Africans, a lot of Senegalese, Ghanaians, Nigerians, a lot of Chelsea fans. Why? Because Didier Drogba, Obi Mikel, they had and the same with Arsenal. Arsenal had Kanu. They had, they had a lot of black players. So in a way, Arsenal became much more kind of, I would say, maybe multicultural. In a way, Arsenal, the thing I've always
Jamaicans and Haitians, they like Arsenal.
Yeah, Arsenal, I've always noticed in terms of in London specifically. In London, if the person is African, British, or Caribbean, I would say 9 out of 10 times he's an Arsenal fan, and 1 out of 10
it's because of players like David Rocastle, Ian Wright.
Yeah, Ian Wright. Yeah,
players like this.
For me, Arsenal. And
Michael Thomas. Really, Spurs have had very few black players in that generation. We had a Ledley King, Jermaine Defoe. We had a Garth Crooks. In fact, Spurs were the first ever club to have a black player. Now it's different. Now Spurs is very diverse football players.
And if you see what clubs are also doing now, if you see, for example,
You had Kanu, you had Adebayor, you had a lot of big
we had
players.
we had so many,
Gilberto,
and only that Wenger
Ashley Cole. We had Danny Rose. We had Danny Rose as well.
But only that still, Wenger was loved by African players because Wenger became famous because he was the first
He scouted
trainer in France to push through. As George Weah at Monaco, he was the coach that pushed him through. So Wenger was kind of a pioneer back in the day for African players.
This is true because
that is true. That is true.
I don't know about this Caribbean
true.
guys. I really, if he's under 40, he's 9 out of 10 times
my brother-in-law,
big Arsenal fan.
My brother-in-law, his great uncle, who's their parents from England. They're all Liverpool. They're Liverpool fans.
But that's right. It's like my dad. My dad and his brother are Liverpool fans because when they were watching the games, it was the 1980s when Liverpool were by far the best team. Like it wasn't. They were what Man United became.
A lot of the black supporters that support Tottenham, they originate from the Tottenham area because there's a big black community there, and also next to Tottenham you got Hackney and Edmonton. So a lot of the black supporters of Spurs, they're from the local areas. It is their club. It's the local.
But the thing why I think you guys are bigger than
you don't really get a lot of South London.
Exactly. You guys
Arsenal do. I know.
The only South London I know in the West Ham area, Essex, you guys have a lot of fans there too.
We've got a huge fan base in Essex and Hertfordshire.
So, which is weird because usually you think Essex, they're gonna be West Ham fans. But you guys have a big community there. So that's why
Londoners, Stefan, it's Londoners with money who move to Essex because they can get bigger houses for the same price, for less. So you get a lot of people that work in the city in finance who are Spurs fans that move to Essex for it's safer.
What is the elite club? What is the rich boy club? Is it Chelsea? I'm guessing it's Chelsea because Chelsea is the nicest.
The richest fans are Spurs fans.
What? You're in one of the worst areas in London.
Yeah, but we've got a big Jewish fan base. And a lot of the Jewish supporters are successful businessmen, business people. We've also got a lot of Cypriots who support Spurs. They've done very well in London. A lot of English, native English people, successful support Spurs. Believe it or not, Spurs, I think, are the richest fan base in general as an average. And then it's probably Man United because a lot of Man United fans live in Surrey, which is a very, very affluent part of the country. So
of course, yeah. Sorry.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Well,
sorry. Someone made a good point. Fulham have got a lot of rich fans.
Fulham. I was thinking either it's going to be Fulham or.
I read an article though. I read an article where they did an analysis and Spurs came top. I was surprised as well, but when they broke it down, it kind of makes sense because we've got a much bigger fan base than Fulham. So maybe there's a bigger, a bigger spectrum to analyze from. So
wait, can I just quickly, I don't want to change the subject, guys. I just want to cook this guy on top of me for having the biggest mouth on YouTube. So Stefan, who had a better season, Arsenal or Spurs?
Straight in.
Spurs for sure.
Spurs. Now you found.
Did you say Spurs? You agree?
Of course.
Yeah, I'm actually shocked.
No, fair play to him.
Fair play.
I was expecting him to fight this.
Yeah, no. I admit Spurs had the better season, but it doesn't mean that you're in a better position currently.
We never said that. I'm asking better season.
Close, but yeah, okay, yeah. You guys had.
What phase are we in? What phase are
Phase 2.
It's not wait, but still, phase 3 is gonna be better than phase 2. Remember,
I can't believe
it's always better.
I can't believe he said that, man. I can't believe he said that. I'm like, why are you
doing
wait. He actually backtracked and said, but usually they kill off the main guy in season 3.
So Stefan, just to add one more point. Do you remember when you used to say that your dear friend Saliba was the best defender? No, between Romero and Saliba. I told you, but you don't listen. Romero has won five out of 5 finals, and what did your boy Saliba reach? 0 finals in his career.
One of those finals, he conceded 3 goals and got cooked by.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Of course, it doesn't matter.
Okay, he got a the most recent one.
Let's act like it was the Argentinian defense that won them the game. It didn't.
He did not personally get cooked. No.
Second thing. Arsenal's defense.
And he made the wait.
Okay. Arsenal's defense, second season in a row, the best defense in the league. So,
I don't care. I don't care. Did you win a trophy? Yes or no?
Okay, we were talking about specifically Saliba and Romero. Romero's
No. I'm saying who's the better defender? Because at the end of the day, do you remember? No, wait. Do you remember when we used to compare Kane with the other, and you always just say he's a serial loser? What is Saliba now?
I didn't do that. I said
you did.
I said Harry Kane was a better player than Aubameyang, but he wasn't a winner, which is true. Harry Kane has never showed up.
Okay, so what is Saliba now?
What is Saliba now?
Yeah, he's a loser.
Is part of the best defense in the league for the second.
He's a loser, yes or no? Answer my question. Is he a loser, yes or no?
He's a loser. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. If you term him to be a loser by what standard? Because individually he's part of the best defense of the league.
No,
for the second season running.
The only standard we look at and you can be judged at, and there's not an opinion, is trophies. Did he win a trophy? Yes or no?
Okay, he didn't. Romero.
Okay, so he's a loser. So just say it, but it's not hard.
He's 20. He's 22, 23. He's got.
I don't care about the age. I'm talking about now. He's a loser. Yes.
But Dietrich, the moment Saliba wins a trophy, it's over, right?
He's not going to win at Arsenal. He's not going to win at Arsenal. He's going to win at Madrid.
When's it going to happen? Stefan, can I ask you a serious question, right?
If you guys really think Arsenal won't win,
you won't win shit. I swear to God, you will not win shit.
I hear this every year, Stefan. I hear this every year from you, right?
Okay.
Until it happens, you got.
It's not going to happen.
You got nothing, right? I want to ask this. No, serious question, because I was thinking about this today. I think Spurs winning this trophy has put a lot of pressure now onto Arsenal. I think, especially with your fans. I'm going by what I'm seeing.
They said yes. They said it.
If you mean Lee Gunner, Lee Judge,
no, not Lee Gunner. I'm talking about even sensible ones.
That's not Arsenal's fans.
No. I'm talking about
I've seen it with them.
Troops? No, they're not.
No, I'm not talking about Troops. The 2 black guys that's with Lee Judges and.
Let me ask the question. Right. Let me ask the question.
And they're usually conservative.
Let me land the question. Right. I think this has put a lot of pressure now on Arteta. Your fans, they've seen that. They've seen the parade. They're like, fuck. For me, it's going to go one of 2 ways. Either it's going to push you on next season to actually win something, or the pressure will get to you. Because listen, I'm not trying to wind you up here, but from what I've seen from Arsenal so far under Arteta, you do bottle it. The same thing I saw with Poch. The same thing, right? Yeah, good. I think Arteta's a good coach. Poch was a good coach, in my opinion, but they both bottled it. Okay. Is he going to handle the pressure that's coming next season to you? Because we have now put more pressure on.
I just want to add something before Stefan answers. Just quickly.
It's not on Arteta. It's
on
this season.
It's your manager.
No manager in the world would have won a league title without.
I swear to God, Inzaghi would have won the title.
Yes. That's why he lost the title to Napoli.
But it doesn't matter. He's going to win a Champions. He might win a Champions League on one. He might win a Champions League next week.
It's good. It's good that you mention Inzaghi, because if you speak to a lot of Inter fans, they want.
I'm an Inter fan.
Okay. If you hear Inter fans, they're saying if he doesn't win the Champions League, they want him gone.
Yeah, he needs to go.
He has choked numerous. He choked 2 cup finals, 2 Italian cup finals. He choked again this season.
And what did Arteta do?
Talk to me about Arsenal and pressure, because for me, it's getting to you lot. It's the same thing happened at Spurs. It's getting to you lot. I can see it.
It's simple. What we need to do: sign a striker and a winger.
No, bro, it's not. Oh my God, Stefan, please don't be like that. Okay, I'll bet you one thing. if you sign, let's say, Gyökeres or a striker, I swear to God, I'll tell you this right now. He's gonna play Havertz as a number 9 at the end of the season.
Not if we sign Gyökeres.
Yes, if you sign a striker, he's gonna do that because that's Arteta. He's a moron. Yes.
Yeah, he's a moron. Okay.
Yeah, he's a moron.
Okay. If we sign Gyökeres and a winger, a very good left winger, whoever it is,
you're not signing Gyökeres, man.
Yeah, we will sign Gyökeres. It's either gonna be him or Sesko.
Sesko is shit.
Of course he's shit. Yes.
Yeah, he's shit.
Yeah. Okay.
He's shit.
Okay. So Sesko is gonna be either Sesko.
So Stefan, let's say you sign these 2 top players, okay?
No. One. I mean, I'm talking about one number 9.
1, 2. Let's say you get the players you want, right?
And just to develop my point,
will Arteta get it over the line because the pressure is on big time.
Pressure is on. Pressure is on. That's why
they handle it.
Pressure is on. He needs to win next year. He needs to win something next year. That's why we hired Andrea Berta, who's famous for closing deals. Let's see what he does. Everybody is excited about the window. Arteta is super is talking big. I just want to remind you that this season Arsenal had the most injuries of any team in the league.
Oh my God, the excuses.
The excuses, man. The excuses. It's not excuses. Your own fan base used these excuses to justify being fucking 15.
Nobody used that.
Well, and then not only my excuses. Jurgen Klopp twice in a row used injuries when he had injury.
At least he won.
At least hold on. 1 minute. Can we pull this back? 1 minute. Hold on.
Wait. Let me.
You didn't lose to Man United in the FA Cup because of injuries. You didn't lose the FA Cup game because of injuries. They were down to 10 men.
Yeah,
that was not down to injuries.
Yeah, that's true.
So let's not use injuries as an excuse because we got decimated as well.
You can lose on penalties. It can happen. We were unlucky, and
you lost 4-0 to Newcastle in the Carabao semi-final. That wasn't down to injuries.
Okay, yes, but we
so don't use excuses.
But again, it's very simple. If you watch these games, if you read the stats and you watch the games, if we had a number 9, a very good one, a quality one, like whoever it is, Gyökeres, Isaac, who can score, who shows he can finish, we win both these games. Because if you watch Newcastle the first leg, Arsenal 4-1.
You finished second. You finished second in the league without them. These are excuses. You finished second in the league without them.
That shows what a good coach Arteta is.
No, he's not a good coach.
He bottles the moments to win trophies, though, Stefan. He bottled it against Newcastle. He bottled it against United.
Okay, Steph.
We beat Man United. 11 men. 11 men.
You were 17th, okay, without Romero and fucking Van de Ven. You were horrendous.
That's a lot.
We were bad. We were bad.
You completely dropped off. Okay, so let's look at the comparisons.
But we didn't bottle the trophies. We didn't bottle the trophies, Stefan.
Okay, yeah. Man City lost their best player. Okay. Yeah. They completely collapsed this year. They completely collapsed. They lost one player.
No, that's a lie. Once again, that's a lie.
So Arsenal lost Saka for 4 months, Odegaard for 3 months, Havertz for 5 months. So we lost our 2 most productive attacking players. Okay, and then we lost Martinelli for a month and a half. Take out Mohamed Salah for 4 months.
Bro, you cannot compare the same shit, bro. No.
Yes, I can.
No, you can't.
Why can't I?
Okay. No, because you know why? Because you're just lying at this point.
How am I lying?
Okay, when Rodri got injured, they didn't lose because of Rodri. They didn't crumble this year because of Rodri. They lost because. Wait. I'm not done. They crumbled because Pep was fucking stubborn. He signed the DM and did not play him this year. No. He signed a 60 million pound DM and did not even play him once.
First of all, Dietrich, see, this is what I mean. First of all, Rodri got injured in August. So before he signed the 60 million DM in fucking January, there were 4 or 5 months where they completely collapsed. And you have to accept the fact, just like with every team, there are certain players, no matter how deep your squad is, that are irreplaceable. Rodri is irreplaceable for Man City. Haaland is irreplaceable for no matter how good the coach is, he's not fucking Harry Potter.
No, he still won. Okay, he still won the league without number 9, without Haaland, without fucking Rodri. It doesn't matter.
He had the best squad in the league. What do you
Okay, so stop finding excuses. Arteta lost the league because he's not good enough. He cannot get you over the line. It's that simple, man.
Okay, from your logic then, why in 2020, when Liverpool lost Van Dijk, they came nowhere near, they lost in every competition and came nowhere near the league title? Why?
Because they sent Ozan Kabak. What the fuck signs Ozan Kabak to replace Van Dijk?
But why did they, wait. Why did they have Ozan Kabak on loan?
Because they were cheap. Because that's Liverpool.
No, because all of their whole defense got injured. Okay.
Dietrich, 1 minute. Just chill a minute. I just want to put some.
No, I just wait, stop. I want to further this because Dietrich kept saying I have other examples. When Liverpool finished 5th 2 years ago, Dietrich, what was the excuse Klopp used for them finishing 5th? Do you remember?
Yeah, because Klopp always finds excuse. No, wait.
Injuries.
No. Injury, no, that's fine. But once again, do you hear Pep making excuses? Do you hear those top managers making excuses? No, it's only Pep and fucking Klopp.
Made that excuse.
No, wait, no. I wasn't that. I said Klopp is an excuse machine. There's a reason why he's only won 1 Prem and 1 Champions League.
First of all, when Pep went on that run for 11 games, where I think they lost 10 out of 11 games, I think it was in September, October. What do you think Pep used as the excuse?
Guys, hold on 1 second. I just want to.
Because he's so disingenuous. He knows.
I'm not being disingenuous. I'm just telling you, be honest with yourself. Stop finding excuses with squads and injuries. That's not a valid excuse.
Excuses. It's the reality. You cannot win the league.
No, it's not the reality. Nobody forced you. Okay, wait. Nobody forced you to go now buy a fucking right winger. Nobody forced you. Wait. I'm not done. Nobody forced you to play Saka every single minute for every game. Nobody forced you to do that. Yes, it is true. He always played Saka for no fucking reason.
That's not true. Guess which 3 players had the most minutes in Europe when Saka got injured? Guess.
No, pre-injury. Pre-injury, I said.
Okay.
Pre-injury.
He got injured when he was supposedly overplayed. Guess which. He wasn't even in the top 10 for most minutes played in Europe. Guess which 3 players played the most minutes in the whole of Europe in all of the top 5
Brother,
leagues?
there was a game. Wait.
Answer the fucking guess.
Of course, it has to be Salah.
Salah, Van Dijk, and Gravenberch. 2 34-year-olds, okay?
It doesn't matter.
4 more minutes. So
no, that doesn't matter. I'm not. No. I said even. Okay, I'll pull it up because I don't have it on me. There was a game. I don't remember. I think it might be a tournament, either League Cup or FA Cup, and he brought on Saka for no apparent reason, and you guys were winning the game.
Yes,
it's not the first time he's done that.
And Slot got so okay. Final question, Stel, and I'm gonna stop the debating with Dietrich because we're going over.
You can debate. I just want to raise.
I just want to ask him, Dietrich, if Salah is out for 4 months, would Liverpool win the league?
4 months.
4 months, like Saka was out.
I trust Arne Slot to manage to.
Get the fuck out of here!
Yeah, man. No, wait. I said I trust Arne Slot to manage manage the year.
No, don't.
If you told me if you told me Van Dijk, if you told me Van Dijk, I'd say no, they're not winning the league because Van Dijk is the reason they won it.
Forget Van Dijk. Do you realize Salah made up over almost 80% of their goals and assists this year? Do you realize what would happen if he gets injured? Do you realize they're done? They're a Europa League team.
Oh, they have game changers. They have McAllister. They have game changers on this team.
Who is gonna replace? Please tell me who is gonna replace the 80% output? 80%. He broke Henry's record this season. That is how unprecedented.
I know, but that's not.
With 7 games to go, if you think that Van Dijk and Salah at the age of 34 next season are going to play these minutes and play at this level, good luck. Because that's not happening. Last thing, I know Stel wants to speak. Last thing. Okay, go.
Do you know that metric that you just used? I think it's disingenuous. I'll tell you why. because I believe Arne Slot will find a way to manage
Really?
and tweak tactically, and they have game changers. I believe Gakpo is good enough. Luis Diaz is good enough. And who else plays on the
Luis Diaz is good enough to fill.
Well, he's better than Martinelli. He's better than Martinelli.
He's not.
He's better than Martinelli.
No, he's not.
He's better than Martinelli.
Diaz is better than Martinelli.
He's better than Martinelli.
He's better than Martinelli.
Diaz.
No.
Diaz is better than Martinelli, bro.
Martinelli.
Dietrich.
Luis Diaz is better than
Wait, guys. So you're saying when Mohamed Salah last year, because let's be honest, the reason why their whole season capitulated last year was because Salah dropped form in March and April, and they got knocked out of the league, out of the Europa, and out of the FA Cup in like 3 weeks because Salah his form went completely down. You're telling me that Arne Slot is a better coach than Klopp?
I think he's a better manager than Klopp, and a better tactician than Klopp.
So he's a better coach then.
Actually, no, wait. I'm just trying to say. Yeah, I think he's a better coach than Klopp.
He's a better manager than Jurgen Klopp.
I believe so. Yes.
Because
imagine. No, wait. I'll tell you why. Come in the first season and winning a trophy with no experience other than Feyenoord is a fucking statement.
Yeah,
and with one signing.
One signing.
And that should tell you. No, wait. And that should tell you why. And that should tell you why, Dietrich. Because he won in a season where the context was Man City had an injury crisis and Arsenal had an injury crisis that had never been.
You didn't have an injury crisis. We had more injuries than you.
In the league. What the fuck are you on about, man?
Right, one second. Hold on.
We didn't have an injury. We lost Odegaard for
please.
3 months.
Can I bring some rationale to this?
Havertz for 5 months.
We gotta.
Stefan, let me. Dietrich, just take a chill pill for 1 minute, right?
Yeah. Don't worry. Go ahead.
Right. So for me, if you want to use injuries as a reason, cool, right? I don't have an issue with it, cool. However, I've watched you lot for 5 years, and I've seen enough, especially after what Tottenham did this year now, to say Arteta is a bottle job, and I think it's a problem. Let me explain why. I saw.
Say that again.
So, bottle job, right? Because I saw Ten Hag beat Newcastle in the final. I saw Ten Hag with an okay Man United team beat Man City in the final. I saw Tottenham, who never, ever beat Man United. When it mattered, we beat them. The same Man United that knocked you out the FA Cup when you had 11 men and they had 10. I've seen you guys lose to Olympiacos in Europe and get knocked out. To lose to Lisbon and get knocked out.
Sporting Lisbon.
And Villarreal. I've seen you guys lose enough big games that you should have at least won 1 or 2 to say.
Villarreal won the Europa still.
It's like, yes, but they weren't this great team. They were a Tottenham rejects. Villarreal had 4 Spurs rejects.
They beat the Man United that finished 2nd or 3rd that year.
All right. Listen, again this year, okay, you lost to Newcastle 4-0 to not even score a goal. Oh, you didn't have a striker, fair enough. 10-man. It's happened too often. And then Big Ange, with the coldest flex in football, I don't usually win in my second season. I always win. I laughed at him. Like, shut up.
Still.
Wait. He does it. I don't care how he got there. He does it. At some point, Stefan, Arteta is building up. He's building up a bottle job reputation. I saw this with Poch. And Poch had less backing. I just want to know, at what point are you going to admit this guy is washed? If he doesn't win anything next season, Stefan, are you done with him as well? Or is it...
But it's always next season still. It's always next season.
I'm asking Stefan. Because I've seen too many games...
He needs to win. He needs to win something. I agree with this.
If he doesn't, are you...
But in terms of what? Here's the thing.
He's got to win a trophy, bro. He's got to win a trophy.
He needs to win minimum next season an FA Cup. Minimum,
okay. Minimum.
League Cup, I have said a long time ago. If we win, I'm happy. If we don't, I really don't give a shit about the League Cup. I really don't. But because FA Cup, minimum.
Some of your fan base care about that. They want trophies.
Okay, let them care about the League Cup. I don't give a shit about the League Cup. That's just my opinion. I think it should be disbanded. It's not needed.
Well,
But-
don't you think? But don't you think winning a trophy like that actually helps?
No, because
helps the talent?
because the narrative, Mari, will be 700 million for a League Cup. Let's be honest.
So what
So
now? But yeah, by this time,
minimum, what he needs to do is win an FA Cup. And
He
for
needs to
me,
win the league.
He needs to win the league next year. If
Oh,
we
yeah.
sign the players that we have that supposedly we're linked with, if we sign a Gyökeres or a Sesko, he has a 9.
No,
Then
Stefan.
we're gonna sign Gyökeres, Dietrich.
Stefan, can I ask you a question? And I swear, I love you. It's just banter, me and you.
Yeah, of course, man.
Yeah.
Sorry
Yeah.
I just
No, it's fine. Just like instead of comments, I'll take.
You were always going to get wound up tonight because
Yeah.
No worries.
Okay, can you make me one promise, Stefan?
Yeah,
One
what's
promise.
up?
Next year, I don't want to hear the excuses of injuries. We didn't sign a striker, and anything else. There's no excuses next year.
But wait,
no
Dietrich,
excuses.
Wait. The same way you guys excuse Poch for being a loser.
I never excuse him. I think he's the biggest loser in the world.
If Arteta doesn't get a 9, that's not on him, man.
No. If he
That's
doesn't
on
win the
board.
FA, no, he needs to win the FA Cup even with no number 9.
Okay, minimum.
League, I can excuse you,
I said minimum expectation next year. He needs to
but
win
no excuses.
and that's the FA Cup.
No
Minimum
excuses.
expectation.
No,
But for me, my expectation will be the league or the Champions League. I honestly think if we sign a top striker, and I think that's Gyökeres, that's why I would sign. And I'm reading all kinds of reports. It's between him and Sesko. Let's see who we sign. Sesko.
do you want to make a bet he's not coming? Gyökeres. I'll tell you, he's not coming with Arsenal.
Why?
I think you're getting Sesko. I think Arteta wants to sign Sesko.
Sesko for me, honestly, reminds me a lot of what Isaac was at Real Sociedad, where his goal return isn't as impressive.
I can tell you this right now. You didn't watch him play. I
have watched him play.
I watched Bundesliga. He's another Darwin Nunes. He's a Darwin Nunes. That's what he is.
No, he's not.
Yeah, he is. Remember what I said. He's another Darwin Nunes, and you and your fan base will be sick and tired of him.
Can I just say one thing?
Wait, stop. Just to tell you, all the Arsenal sources are saying Arsenal's main priority is Gyökeres, because Gyökeres is ready-made. His goal, his stats are ridiculous. So if we sign Gyökeres, put in Zubimendi, re-sign Partey, and then throw in another left winger, hopefully we sell one of Trossard, or actually we shouldn't sell one of them. We should just add another winger. I'm fine. I think we should win with that squad, because the only
You're not winning with the squad. You're not.
Okay, we'll see.
Can I just quickly say, right?
Yeah.
All the people that have called me a flip-flop, and all the people said, I can't believe you changed your mind. All I want to say,
you're a flip-flop. You're one.
Fine, go for it.
Pancake of the year.
Pancake. Hot dog.
I agree on that, Stefan. He's a flip-flop and a pancake.
Whatever you want. I don't care, right? All I'm going to say is the only reason we are able to cook Stefan tonight and you coming on with chesty tricks is because of Ange Postecoglou.
Oh my God!
He put us in this.
You're shameless.
Facts. He did. This is why.
You led.
When's the last time we've cooked dinners? When's the last time
against Ange for 7 months? Dietrich, do you remember Stel? He let it.
Yeah.
And now he's the follower. All of a sudden,
Stefan. We've been on shows many times. Do you remember when I said I would not be surprised if he wins Europa? And this guy on my left, he said I'm an idiot if he wins it. I told you.
You said it towards the end of the season. But
no. I said it. I would not be surprised with the shit season we have. Who's going to win the Europa?
Guys, I just want to say, I am also the reason for why you won Europa. I went to watch Frankfurt Spurs. I am your good luck charm.
He went to watch us get kicked out.
So from now on, I'm never watching another fucking Spurs game ever.
Say that again. You are the good luck charm.
I am. Yeah, I am.
Okay.
Obviously, because everyone. But by the way,
good luck, Joe. Why won the Europa?
That game, you guys completely took Frankfurt by surprise. Like all of the Frankfurt fans were completely sure. I spoke to quite a few that they're going to knock you out. But then during the game and after, they were completely shocked by the way you guys played. They were completely.
And people say we're lucky. Stefan, people say Ange's lucky. I'm like, no, he switched it up.
He switched it up still, but in that game, it was that type of game style might work in the Europa, but it won't work.
Actually, he was lucky. Do you remember the right back for Frankfurt missed so many open goals?
No. Dietrich, they didn't have any big chances. Like
no. Do you remember when he missed it?
It was pretty shit. It was like it was a low quality. Like in terms of like there weren't many chances for both. I thought you guys had better.
You see this comment here, right? This is the problem we have at Spurs. If we lose, our fans, we call ourselves bottle jobs and Spursy. When we actually do win, rather than saying, do you know what, we deserved it, we got lucky. Sometimes just say, you know what, okay, it's not as hard as the Champions League, agreed. But fuck me, we all said 1-1 at White Hart Lane. We're going to lose to Frankfurt. Their stadium's hostile, 55,000 fans. They're different at home. What happened? We said Bodo Glimt, we're fucked. Their home pitch.
No, you said that.
Yeah, you said that.
You said that. Well, nobody said that. It's you.
Shut up, Stel. You said that.
A lot of Spurs fans kept talking about that pitch. A lot of Spurs fans. Man United, what did not all, what did a lot of Spurs fans say, including me? They've got the heritage, they've got the DNA. Look what they did to Arsenal in the FA Cup. Look at what they did to Man City. Yeah, but we went there with the expectation that we're going to bottle it. And you know what? They didn't. Man United were worse than us.
Let's be honest, Stel. Me and Mario were talking about the game and we were laughing.
Sometimes we've got to give ourselves credit.
I was saying we did it. That was the worst final I have watched maybe since Greece winning the Euro 2004.
I was at Greece as well for that one.
that was the worst ever. Like the quality of it was like watching fucking rugby. The amount of times it was like pinballing in the air. And
no one remembers the game. They remember who won it.
Yeah,
and we won it.
I don't mind, but I'm telling you, Stel, this type of if he's gonna play this defensive tactic in the Champions League, you're gonna get absolutely fucked.
Stefan, do you know what? Listen, if he's still in the job, we don't know. We don't know if he's going to keep his job. If he's in the job, for me, if he doesn't be more flexible,
surely you're going to keep him.
Stefan, he'll be gone by October if he doesn't. He'll be gone by October. He won't last.
We all know
he has to adapt.
Me and Mari had a long discussion. I told him, don't make the same mistake as Arsenal and Man United did. When Wenger won in 2014, the FA Cup,
man. Fucking miserable.
No. When
you, Soul Boys, is miserable.
Just let them. When Wenger won in 2014, after 8 years, we hadn't won a trophy, and people were always beating us on the head. We were getting close. That's when Arsenal should have said thank you. But no, we gave him a 2-year contract, and the decline was evident that there needed to be change. A similar thing, but more kind of short term, happened with Man United, where they won the FA Cup because Man City were fucking piss drunk celebrating winning the league. So Man City didn't take them that seriously. Okay, they won. They deserved to win. But then they knew that the teams they were crap. They had a shit season, but they kept him and gave him a new deal. And that was the biggest mistake that they did, because not only did they screw over the club, they screwed over Amorim too, not giving him a preseason. You guys are on course to do this, because in the Champions League, there's going to be no Ferencváros where you can play fucking Archie.
Actually, they're there. No, they qualified.
Okay.
Them and Bodo Glimt.
Okay. So maybe you might play.
It all comes down, honestly, it all comes down to two things. Number one, who the manager will be next season, and if it is Ange, if he adapts. And the second thing, and it's more important than Ange or another manager, if Daniel Levy, who was at the parade, doesn't look at that and say, right, I get it now. I get it. And he doesn't wake up and start signing proper players, it doesn't matter who the manager is. We will not survive in the Champions League or the league. If he doesn't go out and start buying players like Mbeumo, Eze, Mitoma, that level.
It's not going to happen still. It's not going to happen.
That's why I said if he doesn't.
No, but don't say if. We know it's not going to happen.
No, we don't know. We don't.
No, we do. We do.
No,
I have 25 years of history.
Yes, right, okay. There's a high chance based on history that's what's going to happen. But when did you ever see Arsenal go and drop 100 million on a Declan Rice? When did they start doing that? Right. All I'm
They
saying,
bought
Arsenal-
Aubameyang for 67
that's
million.
like Arsenal started like opening up the purses. Like the Ozil one was kind of the first time where I
yeah, but
felt.
Stefan, we've opened up the purse. We've opened it, but it's where it goes. It's where it goes.
That's true.
No
That's
more
true. That's true.
Ndombele,
Like,
no more Tell, no more Reguilon, no more Werner. This has to stop. If Levy doesn't listen to the manager and the recruit, if he just doesn't say, right, increase the wage bill, let's go and get some real players now, then it doesn't matter who the manager is for me. It doesn't matter.
Here's the issue. Here's the issue
We're
that
just
I
going to go
have.
backwards. We made the same
No,
mistake in
no,
2019 after the Champions League.
Here's the issue. He's already fucked up. Do you know why? Because instead of making a quick decision, like Man United did last summer, they were like, we want to sack him. So let's have a look at the market. Let's delay the decision by a month because the fan base is going to be on a high, so they'll be pissed off. So they delayed the decision for a month, looked for his replacement. Everybody pretty much, they realized that the candidates weren't much better than Ten Hag, and then just settled for Ten Hag and gave him a new deal as a result. And I think that's exactly what Levy's doing, because I'm reading reports that they're not going to make they're not going to make a decision this week, which tells
I agree
me,
with Stefan. I agree.
which tells me that Levy, if
that
he's not
last
going to make a decision immediately, that tells me he's going to scour the market. He's going to see what's available and what's doable.
Still,
And
just
if nothing is doable, which if I'm Ange, honestly, and I think he's a fucking clown, complete clown, okay? And if I'm Ange, and if he delays me after I won you the biggest trophy in 40 years or 30, whatever, and you delay me and you like don't even tell me, fire me on the spot at least. But you
Well, the
keep
thing
me
is,
hanging
Stefan,
2 weeks. I'm
Lindy,
telling him to fuck off still. If I'm gonna resign. I'm gonna say no. I don't want to continue.
the problem we've got is Levy doesn't need to say anything unless he's going to sack him. So if he's not going to sack him, there's no announcement. He's still on a 2-year contract.
He needs to make he should have made a decision in the next few days. Like, for example, Arsenal, Arteta and Kroenke supposedly are meeting in the next 2 days to decide who we're going to sign.
Your board never came out and said, we're keeping Arteta. He just gone with it. He never got sacked. It's the same with us.
But
We're not going to say, we're not sacking Ange.
Still, just to add a point, we all know Paratici doesn't rate Ange. He even said it many times.
These are stories we hear. And we jump.
No. But that's.
We were told Ange was going to get sacked at Christmas.
Yeah,
we were told Ange is going to get sacked if he gets knocked out the Carabao Cup.
Yeah, but Paratici said he doesn't want Ange from the beginning. It's only a scum man.
You don't know this. Wait.
It's all rumors.
Yeah, but the rumors say this.
Guys, you're also forgetting the other key factor, the transfer market. Players are going to be like, why should I come to Spurs? Who's going to be the fucking coach? Is it going to be Ange or is it going to be somebody else? Look at Man United, who are supposedly in financial dire straits, are already signing Cunha. That's a top player. And
Man City's about to sign one of our targets, Cherky.
Yeah, I agree, but Spurs don't really get going until June at the earliest, and then July.
Yeah, but that's why we sign crap.
That's
not on Ange, is it? That's from the board. What can we do?
The most anti-Levy people will say, and I'm surprised Stel hasn't come up with this conspiracy theory, that Levy is purposefully delaying the decision so he can delay the actual transfers. So he can, from what I read, he's an accountant, so he likes to sign his transfers at the end of the window because it means.
And the rumors say he's going to sign
wages.
And he likes Tell. He wants to sign Tell as well.
Yeah, which to me, guys, I don't know what the fuck.
Tell shit. None of us rate him.
Doesn't do anything. Just runs. He can run. That's it.
So here's the thing. If Levy waits to the end of the window, then guys, nothing's changed. Nothing's changed. He hasn't woken up, and he will never wake up. If Levy can't wake up now, after that parade that he watched, after all the positive energy in the club and that trophy, if Levy can't wake up now, he will never wake up. I've said this on every show. We will never, ever, ever progress with him. Impossible. It's not going to happen.
I know you're going to get
no matter who the manager is, Glasner, Xavi, and it doesn't matter.
In his small defense, very small, because I think he should make a decision immediately. Wouldn't you be a little bit kind of in dilemma what you're gonna do, because let's be honest, still.
I think
If he hadn't won the Europa League, still, that would have been your worst season in history.
In some ways, Stefan, if Levy makes a decision now, it could be emotional because of the euphoria around the club. If he just waits on it for a bit, it allows him to properly think and make a call that makes sense. Look, personally, guys, I said this when I was on Charlie's show earlier. What I would do if I was Levy right now, because it was a massive call to stick by Ange when we were falling apart in the league and take that risk of winning the Europa Cup. But he made the right call. Levy made the right choice.
Yeah.
But the biggest choice he's going to make now is who he's going to keep as the manager and to back them. And for me, if I was Levy now, I think the right thing to do is to sit down with the players and say, where are you at? Where are you at? Because they're the ones that are going to have to run the brick wall. They're the ones who are going to have to perform. And they're the ones. Yeah.
Yeah, but still, we don't even know who's our director of football the next year. We don't know anything.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it does.
No, it doesn't, because Levy makes the final decision on everything. He makes the final decision.
But let's say he changes Lange and Lange doesn't get along with the new director of football. There's going to be issues.
It's the players. It's the players. It's the players that get the results. He should sit down with the players and say, where are you at? And if you've got 2 or 3 players, big players, that aren't happy, and you can't keep at him out. Let me finish this. If Romero, Maddison, Van de Ven were not happy, man, you can't keep Ange because they're your big players. If the Maddisons, the Romeros, the Van de Vens, the big players, Vicarios, if they're like, no, this guy, we love him, man, and you get a Jed Spence and an Odebert that say, nah. Doesn't matter about you lot. You got to listen to your players on this, because they're the ones that have to play for the manager.
No, I completely disagree. You cannot.
I disagree with that too.
Why do you disagree?
I've always been against player in terms of making decisions that are above their pay grade.
Me too.
The moment you start introducing players in the decision-making style, you fuck everything up, because what you create is a schism between the players and the manager, in which the players know that
you're not going to make the decision. Stefan, listen, for me, and I was taught this when I was doing my coaching badges, you have got to get the input of your staff. Your staff are the players. You have got to know where they're at, because if they don't want Ange, you can't keep him, because we're not going to get rid of the players.
Yeah, but still, our players didn't want
Dietrich. If all these players say, we want him, we like him, we want to play for him, you can't get rid of him, man. You can't.
Okay, I've got a question then. Okay, you hire Mourinho or Conte.
Yeah.
And those players, like they did before, they start leaking shit that training is too intense or boring or whatever, or he's a bit cold with us. Are you going to listen to them and fire one of the best coaches in the world because the players aren't happy? Or are you going to say, fuck you, your shit, I'm going to sell you?
Right. If you're prepared to spend the kind of money those managers want to spend on players they want, then you listen to the manager. But if you aren't going to go and spend 300 million on 4 players like these managers want, you can't do it. Whether I like it or not, the best Spurs will do is spend 200 million, but it's a lot of money. But we've always spent it on 8, 9, 10 players. We've never spent 200 million on 4 players, like 4 50 million pound players. For us to do that, then you've got to listen to the manager. But you don't want to lose your better players who want to play for the current manager you've got, because then you're destabilizing the environment, because there's no guarantee, Stefan, the next manager comes in he gets that same relationship. We've been through Conte, Mourinho, Redknapp, Nuno.
No, for me, still, I've told you from the get-go.
That's just my opinion. I could be wrong. Right? That's what I think.
I would move heaven and earth to hire Thomas Frank. I think he is the best pound-for-pound coach in the Premier League.
That's the
based on
rumor. That's the rumor that
based on the budget that he has, based on the points totals that he gets, and based on the fact that every single player pretty much has improved under his wing. You can name so many young players that have developed so well. And Buemo now is an example. Wissa, Ivan Toney, so many players. So for me, I would do that, but that's the riskier and the more expensive hire.
I want
Glasner.
That's the rumor that's going on right now that Frank is.
I wouldn't hire Glasner. Glasner is a bit similar, is a much better coach than Ange, but he's Emery. He's the German Emery, which is he's not going to be a long-term.
Brilliant.
I told you. Do you remember 2 years ago when I said you should have hired Glasner?
But now you're saying no.
I wouldn't. In terms of the fit, you also, for me, what's important is the fit for your club. I think Glasner is a great coach, a great cup coach, but I don't think he has the charisma like Emery to be a coach of a big club. I don't think he's got it. Thomas Frank, in my opinion, has got it. I think Glasner is perfect for a club like Frankfurt, for a club like Werder Bremen, Crystal Palace. But I think the moment you put him, like Emery, who was amazing at Sevilla, who's doing great things at Aston Villa, if the moment you put him in a really big club with expectations where you have to deal with the politics, like a PSG, like an Arsenal before him, he fails.
They said that about Ange. We said that about Andrew.
Guys, I'll be right back.
No, it's not about. I just think Thomas Frank. One, you look at the fit at Brentford. He has one of the smallest budgets in the league, so he's used to dealing with resources that are kind of against him. So that's one thing for Spurs. Second thing is you have a really young squad currently. Thomas Frank has worked in the Danish youth teams, has developed numerous young players. So has Glasner. Don't get me wrong. I really rate Glasner. And the third thing, which I like still, and for me is, I know it's very subjective. I watch Thomas Frank's press conferences. The guy has it. You either have it or you don't. Erik ten Hag, from his first press conference that I watched, I knew was not a Man United manager. No matter, I know he won an FA Cup. I just knew he wouldn't. He just doesn't have it. He doesn't have that it factor. Jurgen Klopp has it. Pep has it. You can tell he just owns the room. I know it's very kind of subjective, but to me, I think Thomas Frank is your guy. If you're to sack Ange, what I would do, I have no idea now. It's kind of like the final, the Europa League. Like me and Mario would text each other, and I'd be like, I don't know who's gonna. One day I think Spurs are gonna win. The next day I think, man, with this hire now, I have no, because Ange also don't forget, Ange fucked himself in one of the interviews. He said around January he basically gave up on the league. Mr. Daniel Levy does not like to hear that shit.
But he backed it. Levy backed it.
Yes, he backed it. But Mr. Levy knows that this type of shit will not work.
There's no way. Do you know what? I was listening to Simon Jordan earlier on TalkSport, and they brought up that same thing you said about Ange jacking off the league and Levy not liking it. And Simon Jordan said there would have been a conversation where Ange would have said to Levy, I can't do both. Which way do you want to go? I want to go Europa. I know your tradition is to go. Simon Jordan said that conversation would have happened in January between them already. Levy backed it.
No, Levy backed it because he learned from his experience with Mourinho, where Levy knew that if he had sacked him mid-season or maybe after the 1-1 with Frankfurt, where I think a lot of fans were clamoring for him to be sacked, Levy knew that if you guys got knocked out by Frankfurt, everybody would have said, yeah, Levy, fuck him. He sacked him he should have sacked him earlier. They would have blamed Levy. So Levy knew, you know what?
Simon Jordan.
They're not.
What Simon Jordan said was that Levy and Ange would have had a conversation that the league isn't happening and to go all out for the Europa. He said that conversation would have happened between them, and Levy must have agreed to it because he stuck by it. When we were all on this show, me and Mari going, what's Levy doing?
Levy agreed to it because I think, let's be honest, by December, January, you were like 12th, weren't you? 11th?
Yeah, but he could have sacked him and brought another manager in, Stefan. But he didn't.
True. But I think he learned his lesson from the Mourinho side. where everybody, I don't think even with Mourinho you would have won that cup final, but he created that negative PR by firing him and giving the hypothetical that, oh, what if Mourinho had actually coached that final? So it's on Levy. So Levy learned from that and said, you know what? You have a big mouth. You talk big. I'm going to back you up on this. I won't sack you until you're still in the Europa. And he managed to back it up. But I think this is not, like I told you last season, where I didn't predict you'd be this shit in the league. I said this is going to be exposed, and it was.
But he binned the league. He binned it.
But he got he binned the league because he got exposed. He got exposed at the start of 2024, where from January 24 to 2024 until from the end of 2 years ago to the end of this season. Let's be honest. I checked some of the stats. Like, I think you have, 36 losses in 2 seasons.
You know, before we got all the injuries, we were 6th place and we were 4 points off of 2nd in the league. Then we had the crisis.
Wait,
Stefan. My issue with Ange.
Why are you using injuries, Stel?
I'm not. Hear me out. I'm not. Let me finish.
Right.
My issue is when the injuries happened, the way he managed it was a fuck up because he's kept trying to play Ange ball when he knew he had the injuries, and he should have dropped the line, stop inverting the fullbacks, and made us hard to beat rather than trying to be Pep Guardiola when we've got average players on the pitch now. You've lost your best players. Stop trying to be Man City. Be more like old school Bolton Wanderers until you get your players back. Ange managed the injury crisis badly. So I'm not blaming injuries. He mismanaged that crisis.
Here's the 2 things. I want to say something, and I'm moderating. The 2 things that concerns me, I said last night, and Stel knows this. The thing that concerns me, it goes back down to the tactics. And I understand if we get a Wemo, or like we use hypotheticals. If we bring this person, and this person in, how will Spurs perform in the league going into next season? And I still say the 2 problems is once again the tactics. I saw that we are Tottenham, earlier today. It's just that he has a game against City where it seemed that he adjusted, but then the next couple of games we don't, and we're going on a losing streak. And so the evidence shows, other than trying to save his bacon, that's when he adjusts. When he needs to save his bacon, those are the games he adjusts. And then the stuff about injuries, and I'm saying it for the 4th time, I will do an episode on the injuries. I have articles and studies from Opta, BBC on the type of injuries that Ange has for his teams. Injuries are always going to be a problem. So for me,
we talked about this in the last stream with the injuries. Every year, injuries will be a problem at Spurs. The evidence is there. Like I said, I'm going to have a stream. I haven't just been researching, preparing it, and there was some things I saw. I was shocked, and I don't think our fan base knows. Like, it's not if we get injuries next season, we will get injuries next season, and it will be a lot. This is nothing new. Those are the 2 things for me that has me, if he is the manager next season, poo-pooing next season, because those are 2 things, right? Injuries being the excuse, and then managing multiple competitions. I wasn't annoyed at the fact that he had a lot of injuries. I was annoyed at the lack of journalistic, just basic journalism. Go do some research on all of his clubs. Literally every single club from Australia youth football, like under 20s, to Japan, to Scotland, and now to Spurs. He has had massive injury crises. This season with Spurs, it's become so bad that the team doctor quit. He couldn't deal with him because of his bullshit. Because supposedly, from what I read, he's the only manager in the league that trains like it's a game. He plays game state or whatever it's called, where you literally play at 100% intensity. So the players, that's why you got so many injuries at the start of the season when you had games every 3 days.
Before I bring Alexander in,
and that's what Arteta needs to learn, the load management stuff. He needs to go to the NBA. He needs to go to the NFL because that's exactly what
San Antonio Spurs. Yeah.
By the way, Mario, you got super chats you haven't done.
Yeah, I was about to make the super chats. Before I bring Alexander in, I am so sorry because I was late on the super chats. It's been heated. Henry Thong TV, big supporter. He said, "War trophy for Arsenal." Semi Mehmet, big up. That seems like a good idea. Sack Ange, rehire him so he can win in his second season.
That's genius. Just do that. Just do that for a decade. Just do that.
What idea? You rinse and repeat. Do that, and yeah, that's the formula. Big up to Marley. I am concerned about Spurs. The attack is so mid. I agree. Confused over the coach. No transfer links. No new coach links. Will Spurs embarrass the club in Champions League? That is a important question.
As it stands now, yes. As it stands now, yes.
That is
guys.
Very
I watched the highlights from Brighton. I think Brighton. I checked the stats. Had like 24 shots.
Stefan, our players were drunk, high. Okay. They were fucked.
Before that, Villa
pretty much all year. In the league.
Wait, there's 22 losses.
But you know what though? The thing is, after I think it was 15 or 16 losses, relegation was impossible. So we secured Premier League status. So the next 5 or 6 losses meant absolutely nothing. It meant nothing.
That's true. But still, you cannot. It's not sustainable like this. It's not because
listen. For me, there's no way we're losing 22 games in the league next year and finishing 17th. This was.
Yes, you are still.
This was a bit of an anomaly.
Guys,
there's a bit of an anomaly.
As Champions League, you will have to play every single starting player pretty much every game. So that means he's going to have to manage the load, which he has shown both seasons he can't. Okay.
That's why we need to build up the squad, Stefan. We need to build up the squad because
build up the squad.
The B team is.
You injured him. I read Kulusevski never had any injuries in Italy until he came.
And this is why. Yeah. So this is why Ange has to adapt his ways. He has to.
He won't. Still, the thing that annoys me.
Say he won't. We don't know yet.
He won't. The reason why he won't is Mari gave you the best example. He beat Man City 4-0. I remember that. Playing a similar type of style to the way, maybe not as defensive as in the Europa. And then the moment he got a little bit cocky, comfortable, and the next game against Ipswich, he lost.
Right. That was back in December, right? A lot's happened since then. For me, I've got no issue if he plays Ange ball, but he's got to pick the right games to do it. If he thinks he can do it every week, forget it. What he's got to do is play some games Ange ball, some games pragmatic, backs to the wall, 25% possession like we did in the cup final, and some games play like we did away to Man City, deep, counter-attacking. He's got 3 ways of winning. He can't do one way the whole season. It'll be a disaster. See, the one thing I like about Arteta, and this is the last time I'm going to praise this guy, because he's still a whole job. The one thing I like about Arteta, he has got the ability to adapt his team. And that I like. Ange has to now show that. He now has. If he doesn't, Stefan, I've told you, if he doesn't show it, he's gone by October. He'll be gone. He won't survive. So
I honestly think
no chance he'll survive.
It depends. I don't know. Maybe if you sign Eze, maybe that style might work against the smaller teams because you have.
I'm hearing Bayern might may make.
Yeah, he's a very typical.
They're going to take Elise and Eze to Bayern.
But for me, I actually, to be honest, I don't want to be. Yeah.
Look, most Spurs fans don't think Ange will adapt, and they want it. In my opinion, I think
they've drank the Kool-Aid. Still, they've drank it big time.
Stefan, it's weird, right? Because you've got some. Look, I think the online fans kind of want Ange out, but the fans at the parade and a lot of fans who went to Bilbao, they want him in. So there's two types of Spurs.
I'm intrigued. I'm Ian. What is, because Ian is a lifelong. He's watched Spurs since the Second World War. I'm joking, Ian.
Who's Ian?
Ian Lubin.
He wants Ange out. He wants him gone.
He wants Ange out. Even after he won the Europa.
He doesn't think he can. He doesn't think he can handle the Premier League. He wants him out.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued to see, has there ever been a lower ranked team that has won a Europa League? In the league?
No.
I'm really intrigued if somebody can.
There's never been any European final where the team 16th and 17th played each other.
That's true, yeah. But because I'm really intrigued because I know for the Champions League it's Liverpool. They had to change the rule for them. When Liverpool in 2006 they finished 5th. And back then,
no team has ever survived in the Premier League losing 22 games.
Still, I actually read your loss percentage this year was worse than the year you got relegated.
Yeah, but what saved us? Do you know what saved us?
Yeah, Ipswich being shit.
No. I'll tell you what saved us, because no team. I think it's been like 15 years since a team got relegated on 38 points. We got enough points. What saved us is this: because of the way we play, we don't draw. It's win or lose. So we don't have a lot. That's the one thing about Ange. We don't. We don't.
If you look at it,
games.
If you look at it, you made 9 points from Man United and City. Oh, and you made 15 points from Man United, City, and Southampton.
No, listen to this. So we beat Man United twice in the Premier League. We beat them in the Carabao. Sorry, we beat them in the Carabao Cup
4 times. Yeah.
Right. 16% of all of our wins this year are against Man U. That's fucked up. It's so fucked up.
It's the Spursiest thing ever, where it's on such a thin red. Like, you lose that Europa League final, and it's the worst season in.
Do you know what it's like? It's like you're driving a car in a race. It's on the red line. You get over the line, and the car switches off.
No, it's like, you know what it's like.
It's ridiculous.
Have you watched the film Hurt Locker? Do you know those bomb diffusers where you have to pick either the pink wire or the fucking yellow one? And if you pick the pink wire and you lost the final, everyone dies.
Everyone dies.
Yeah. So it was exactly that final was, in my opinion, the highest stakes final that I can ever remember. It was like,
just imagine. See again, right? The flip side, our manager was under such ridiculous pressure and he won it.
Was he still?
Bro, it was do or die. It was do or die.
Same for Man United. It was worse for Man United.
He's only been there 6 months. I don't think his job was in as much danger.
Forget about the coach.
No, but Ange spent £350 million. He's there for 2 years, Stefan. This was do or die. This was one of those moments where it was like for Alex Ferguson. If Mark Robbins doesn't score that goal, Fergie's sacked. It was that moment. You have to win it. That's a lot of pressure.
It was kind of like that. It was kind of like the Kane free kick, right, against Villa.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. Whereas Amorim, he's been there 6 months. They haven't spent any money yet. I think he probably had a little bit more.
No, have you read how you've completely put them in the dust financially? Like that.
Yeah, but they're signing Mbuemo. They signed Cunha today. I don't understand.
They're fine. Still, the players soon they're gonna have no cafeteria, and they're gonna have to sign up to Pure Gym because they're gonna close down the fucking gym.
Pure Gym.
I was going to say before, Alex.
I'm going to use that one.
So the one glorious thing, winning this Europa, which makes me so happy as I watch these other shows. Now, since it's been only 5 days or 6 days since we won the trophy, on the Big Six hierarchy, the longest without a trophy is Arsenal. And And no one can now say Spursy.
Why?
What
Why
have
can't
Spurs
we
have
say
won?
Spurs? You win
What
one
have Spurs
final,
have
and now we
won?
can't say Spursy?
And Arsenal fans, and I've heard this, and they even got in God to say it. In Europe, we are bigger than Arsenal in Europe. Facts. Any rebuttal, Steph?
Nah, it's fine. You can.
Oh,
I prefer not being in the Europa. That's for sure. I don't miss those games.
hey, you guys tried 3 times, and
We got to the final, but played against the third place Chelsea.
yeah. So, Alex, where did you go? I know you wanted to say some things. Oh, there he goes.
Yeah, big up, Mark, big up, Stefan.
Yeah, what's up, man?
First of all, honestly, what I saw yesterday, my praise go out to all the people affected in Liverpool because that shit.
Yes. Once again, terrible. Praise for the families.
Disturbing.
Unbelievable. Disgusting what happened.
Yeah, honestly.
My prayers, speaking of that, my prayers also go out to Abby Grace Summers, whose career is now pretty much done. Did you guys see?
Blackout.
Yeah, I heard
this
about
world.
that.
This world is so soft. It was like when she was 15 and people.
Yeah. I was gonna say I didn't want to get into that.
Fuck it out, man.
I didn't want to get to that, but
World
we
is
live
what
in
it is.
cancel culture. But that'll be another day, another topic. But
Delete, guys. If you ever join YouTube, delete your fucking Twitter feed. Remember this.
Yeah.
Delete your Twitter profile.
And I apologize way in advance.
In 2012, it was mad.
So, Alex, you wanted to cook?
No, honestly, I've forgotten so many of the points I wanted. It was earlier on, but I was just pretty much everything I wanted to say you said. So, yeah. Either way, what you've talked about now with our summer up ahead and what we have to do, it's all crucial, really. Because I'm gonna repeat what Stel said. If Levy doesn't change now, then he never will. There's nothing else that could change it.
Can we stop saying this? Levy has spent on Ange more money than Arsenal has spent on Arteta in the last 2 years.
Okay, Stefan, let me say this, Stefan. If you had Levy as your chairman since 2011, you pretty much would have won maybe 1 or 2 trophies more than us. So let's say 4 trophies in 25 years. That would have been your legacy with this chairman in charge of your club. I'm telling you, you don't know what it is to have him in charge.
No, I agree. I do actually, Alex, because I remember. We were also you, but we were you for 6 to 7 years because we built our new stadium. So we had to sell our best player pretty much every season.
Yeah, I get the stadium comparisons, but your owner has they've come out and said what they want to do with your club.
That's true.
They want to aspire to be Premier League champions again. They want to aspire. Our chairman has never done that. He's just spoken in like cloudy words, what he said recently after our win. He went out and said, we want to use this as a springboard to kick on for more success. Those things, they're abstract. It doesn't really mean anything because he's not saying we want to win an FA Cup, we want to win a Premier League. He
doesn't want to commit to it because if he says that, people will expect.
But he's not a winner, first of all, in football terms, and he's not a football person. You can look at him when the cameras have zoomed in on him during every single big game we've had this season, the semi-finals against Bodo, the finals, all the times we've scored big goals. When we lifted a trophy on the parade, his face is stone. That's not the expression.
Yeah, his face. I'll tell you why.
And face of a football person that loves this club and says and proclaims that he's been a childhood Spurs fan. That's not. It's false. It's lies. He's not that. And if he was, then I'm telling you, we would have been a club to be reckoned with. But we haven't. And until this trophy, where we've actually felt a real joy for the first time in 17 years, then he's never been that far. Never. He's never going to be it either, in my opinion.
I completely agree with you that he doesn't really care about football, but I don't necessarily think you need to be a football person to be a winner. Like, for example, the Villa owners, one is an Egyptian businessman, the other is the owner of the Bucks in the NBA. They're not full people, but they're spending almost 100% of their revenue on wages. They're going all out trying to do as much as possible to make Villa as competitive as they can be. They're winners, in my opinion, because they're trying their best. Arsenal's, the Cronkies, you look at all their other sports teams, they invest the most. They always take massive risks with trades and stuff like that. And they do the same at Arsenal. So they're not football people. Josh Kroenke is a former basketball player. So for me, it's just a mentality. But I'll tell you why I think, because I also did notice that at the parade, he was stoned as fuck because he realized, holy shit, now we've actually won a trophy. Now the fans are going to have expectations. And now the fans are going to expect this to continue in the future. And so I think he realized that now there's going to be a little bit more expectation in terms of we can actually win trophies. So let's see what he does. He first needs to make the decision of whether to keep Andrew, to sack him, which for me, him delaying it is a massive mistake. It's doing the same thing Man United did last summer. But let's see what he does. I'm really intrigued. I have no idea. If I'm a betting person, I have no idea what to bet on in terms of whether he stays. I can't decide. Like, it's so 50-50 for me. But yeah, it's just let's see. I think if he keeps him, I think next season is going to be an absolute disaster for Spurs. I think you guys are going to get so exposed.
I think we're fucked either way. Let me tell you why.
No, if you hire a Glasner or Thomas Frank and you give him a full preseason and a decent sized budget, Alex, I think he can get far more. That those managers can get far more.
I'm talking about the transfer window from the end of the start of it, nothing else. If you don't bring in a manager with like massive stature in the football world, like Xavi because of his previous career, or a absolutely elite established manager like Simon Inzaghi, if you bring in anybody other than those managers, in my opinion, now, then we're shooting ourselves in the foot, in my opinion, because this transfer window.
You gotta calm down, Alex.
No, Stefan, let me finish. If we sack our manager now, it's gonna be the fourth. What is it gonna be? It's gonna be the fourth manager we've sacked in like 3-4 years. I don't know.
Yeah.
Players want stability just as much as players want glory and success when they look for their next club and a move. They want stability too. That's a huge thing. They don't want a club that sacks their managers left and center. They don't want to hear rumors from a club that you don't even know who the manager is going to be. That's our situation right now. So I'm saying if we sack him now, I'm not like totally against it, but if we sack him now, then that's going to cause that shit. They just keep switching managers and they just sack the manager.
Yeah, but Alex,
I'm going to give you
listen, let me finish. He won them the first trophy in 17 years. So we're gonna appoint another manager. That manager is gonna think, wait, they sacked their.
But Alex, I just want to ask you, do you want to sack him?
Why am I gonna want to win trophies? Because they just sacked.
But Alex, I just want to clarify. Do you want to sack him or keep him?
Yeah, if you were gonna let me finish, I said it was gonna be a fucked up scenario. It's a fucked up scenario either way. That was what I wanted to say.
So
okay.
I'm gonna say this.
What do you wait? What would you do? Would you sack him or keep him?
No, if I was Levy, I would keep him solely for the instance of I would go ahead and say, and I would get the message clearly out that we're gonna stand behind this man just for the fact that it optimizes our transfer window. It optimizes the type of player we can bring in. Because if we have a clear plan and say we're going to stick with the manager who won this trophy, then he's going to be the same manager that picks up the phones to the players that we want to sign, the Sanes, the Mbuemos, all of these players. He's going to be the same manager that picks the phone up and says, I just won the Europa League. We have something going here.
I'm going to say this. I'm
another manager that doesn't have any relationship with the players. What can he really? He can just
Alex,
because he hasn't started anything with the club yet.
I was going to share this, but I want to read this.
And he's going to convince players to join. I don't think it works like that. So I would keep him just for the fact that it can.
Let me read the super chat. First of all, let me read the super chat. Who should be known as butlers? Once again, it's an easy answer. It is definitely Arsenal because First of all, United wasn't expected to do anything.
Yes, they were. They were
uh,
favorites. They were favorites
uh,
for the Europa League, Mari. I
no,
checked.
yeah, they weren't expected. They weren't expected to do anything. Whereas Arsenal was supposed to win the league this season. This was
They were
supposed to
supposed.
be
So,
their.
okay.
their,
Who were the favorites for the Europa League, Mari, at the start of the Europa League?
actually, it was us.
No,
It was actually
Man
Spurs.
United. No, it was
No, it
Man
was
United.
actually Spurs. We were the bookies' favorite to win the Europa League.
Are you
It
sure?
was
'Cause
us.
I remember
Yeah.
Man United had the best odds.
No. It was us. They were
Okay.
second. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna give you guys an example. I'm gonna give you an example of the situation that we're in as a club, right? And this is the mid-up question. Everybody knows I don't want Ange to start the season. I gave it the reasons why earlier. Even if you get better players, I go down to his tactics and in-game management, which I'm still. It was good enough for him to get across the line with Europa, but I don't believe it for the league.
More, you
I'll-
can't deny the fact
So
that the
I'm
players
gonna give you guys this illustration. So we just had is in the states.
consideration.
In the states, we have end of the year. The schools are leaving, and the month of April, there's a thing called assessment testing, right? I'm gonna use one of my students. I'll bring it as an example. In reading, this student clearly struggles with reading throughout the year, and the assessments show that this kid in the third grade in the States, you get retained. Retained means you get to repeat the third grade. You don't go on to fourth grade. So the kid doesn't really show any progress throughout the whole year until assessment time, which is April. He takes the test. All the administrators, including myself, say, "Oh shit, the kid passed." Right? So on scale 1 to 5, the kid gets a 4, meaning that this kid goes on to go to the fourth grade. Right? Because he goes on to the fourth grade, he doesn't have to repeat the third grade, though you kind of feel that he needs to repeat the third grade to have a foundation, those foundations to succeed later on. So the case is that we are expecting, even with the tutoring and the extra help, that in the fourth grade, because it's happened before, usually that student falls flat within the first 8 weeks, the first 12 weeks, because yes, they luckily passed the test, right? And think of Spurs in this situation, right? We stars align, we got the trophy, right? We got the Europa League. Now we're going to the Champions League, right? We're going to another grade, but the foundation, right, is still terrible, which is the league, right? We seen it, we were shit. And so for me, I feel like with this student, we're like, oh boy, it's gonna be a rough fourth grade year, fall of 2025 for this student. Because normally that's what usually happens when a student passes a assessment, not expected, and they struggle on to the next year.
Mhm.
And so I feel that with our club, like even if you get the better players, no, we're not going to finish 17th or 22 losses. But I'm still like, well, we're going to waste the first 8-9 weeks of the season, and because of that, we'll probably finish 9th or 10th.
I predicted.
So that's my feeling of the situation that we're in.
You're not gonna finish 17th, Mari, for the only reason being is the fact that you'll be knocked out of the Champions League far earlier than you won't get to the final. So you'll be able to prioritize the domestic cups and the league. So I just don't think you'll be able to be this bad. But do I think that he's gonna start? He's a real arrogant person. Like, he's really, really, really believes in himself, and he's gonna have even more confidence now to do what he wants and to have, like, the reason why I get annoyed at them giving him credit is because he didn't adjust out of his own doing. He adjusted because he was desperate. He knew that if he lost the Frankfurt game, he's sacked in the morning. So he adjusted in those games because he had nothing else to play for. And he knew if he didn't win the Europa, he's finished at Spurs. So give him credit for the adjustment, okay. But I don't see how you keep him. And Alex's analogy, and Mari's great, but Alex is basically, you have Ange as a side chick, and you're like scouring the market for like a month, and then if you don't find somebody better than your side chick, Alex, then you keep seeing the side chick. But if you if you find out, you can't do this, because Ange is gonna say, "What the fuck? I won you a Europa, and you're gonna keep me cold for a month whilst you try and find somebody better than me." Let's see. I mean, I'm really intrigued to see what happens. I'm not worried at all, because I'm really confident in terms of from Arsenal's perspective. I think Arsenal are going to have a great.
You're not winning the league this year, even if you sign a striker.
We'll see. But
we'll make a bet off stream. Don't worry.
Alex, can I say something? You need to raise your spirits, man. What's happened at this club is, for too long.
You missed me on the shows afterwards. I was over the moon. I told everybody.
No. But I'm listening. I'm talking about what you said tonight, right? Yeah. This club has been a cesspit for too long, and the reason it's been a cesspit is because we fail and we fail and we fail, and even when we're good, we still fail. This manager, he's come to this club and he's told us, you need to win trophies here. You need to start winning trophies here. He smelt it straight away. He did it. He did it. Listen, hear me out. He did it. I never believed. I never thought, this guy's, shut up, man. We're talking about your fucking tactics. He did it because that parade, he knew it. He knew that club needed that.
He knew what it would mean.
So when you sit here and you say, we're fucked whatever we do, we're not fucked whatever we do. If we keep this manager and we back him, I think he wins more trophies. If we get rid of him and we bring in a top manager, not a De Zerbi, a Graham Potter, these risky ones, bring me a Glasner, bring me an Inzaghi, which I don't believe that's going to happen, but bring in a top manager, then we'll be okay. As long as Levy backs the next manager, I think we should stick with Ange, because he's won at this club when no one else knows how to do it. They all tried, they failed. So we're not fucked either way. It's going to come down to one thing and one thing only.
Alex, let me check this question.
They've got to sign quality. Like Arsenal,
so you would so you're going to give
fans. I haven't finished. Our fans dismissed Trossard when we never got him. He's overrated. Bullshit. Trossard's better than any sub we've got that comes off the bench. Our fans need to start waking up. Experienced players is what we need now, who have proven there's something about them. They don't have to be the best players in the world, but a Trossard works at Tottenham.
No, but wait. So
we need to start doing that now.
So you believe with
Werner, you know.
All right, the League Cup and the FA Cup, right? Because I don't. The Champions League. All right, so if we have better players, so you truly believe, right? And because you have to play the top Premier League teams in the League Cup and the FA Cup.
Yeah,
you truly believe that Ange can get us over the line with better players in the Premier. I mean, not in the FA Cup.
He finished fifth in his first season without Kane, and the only reason, or not the only reason, one reason we didn't get top four is because we as fans We cheered on Man City to beat us. Don't forget, we wanted that.
No,
we chose
you
that.
didn't
We
get-
chose that.
But
No, it was the better decision.
we got stressed out.
Listen, I'm happy we done that. But what I'm
Better
saying is, he didn't like that, though. Do you remember? He didn't like it because he never understood where we were coming from.
No, he consistently backtracks and is the biggest hypocrite. He said this. He called out your fans.
He's a bullshitter. Stefan, he's a bullshitter.
He called out your fans after Man City because he knew he choked. Because that game wasn't the reason why you lost the top 4. The reason was because you lost out of your last 8 games. I think you lost 6 or 7 out of your last 8 or 9 games.
In January was terrible. From January on.
Yeah.
Stefan,
and then he says now, after he says, they care about, why I want to win every game. Then you go out on your press conference and say, I didn't give a shit about the league from January, pretty much. What he consistently bullshits, backtracks, does everything possible. The worst one for me by far.
He still got top 5 though. He still did it. He still got it.
Okay. He did it, but he's a fake still. He's a clown. He is the worst.
He's not a clown. He won a trophy, bro. He's not a clown.
Okay, he's been a hypocrite.
You can't say that.
A broken clock is right twice a day. Don't forget that.
Listen, a clown doesn't win trophies. He's won it everywhere he's been. He's done it at Tottenham.
Yes, he does. I can tell you.
He's done it here. All our Spurs fans said, fucking Japanese league, Australian league, bullshit, rubbish, means nothing. You got to do it here. He did it here. He did it.
He's been a hypocrite. He's been a hypocrite.
He won here when all of us said
he delivered on the biggest sort of statement he put out there, and that was that he always wins it. Everything else he could have said,
but
it's trivial. Listen, hold on. Don't interrupt. Let me finish. It's trivial.
You muted yourself.
Alex, you're on mute.
You muted.
You mute yourself.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's trivial. It's trivial because when he spoke about trophies in which we haven't touched in 17 years, when he spoke on that and he said, I deliver in my second year, we all laughed at him, and that he proved us wrong. That is what matters. Not that he said, the league doesn't matter. The league matters. I want to win every game. That is trivial. Every manager spews things out. I want to win every game. I want to win every game. Every manager says that.
No, Alex. No.
How many managers say that I always win in my second season? He's a winner. He's a winner.
He is a winner. He is a winner. At Tottenham, he's a winner.
He's not a winner. Let me say this. Wait, hold on. Let me say this. He's not a winner of the highest quality. He's not been in La Liga and crushed it with there. But he is a winner because everywhere he's gone, he's won. Not a high quality one, but he's a winner. That's what he is.
Stefan, you called Poch a loser because he won nothing at Spurs. Now a manager comes and wins here, you call him a clown. It can't be both ways.
No, I'm not. You guys are looking too short term, which is bantering Arsenal fans, and you finally won a trophy. Long term wise, what he is doing to your culture is terrible. The fact that he can bin the league in January, that is a terrible culture setter within the club.
We weren't going to win it, Stefan. We weren't going to win the league, bro.
Okay, but still, that doesn't mean you finished 17th, man.
Who cares? Who cares?
I've never known a winner for then.
Who cares where you win if you win the Europa in our position? Who cares?
So how can you say you're a winner when you bin off one of the main competitions?
Because we weren't going to win it. Because we weren't going to win it. We weren't even going to get top 4. In January,
so what does that mean? You lose. How many games did you lose? Was it like?
Who cares, Stefan? Answer this question, right? Answer this question. We weren't going to win the league. We weren't going to get top 4. So who cares where we finish as long as we don't get relegated?
Okay.
As long as we win. Yeah, but you're saying okay, but then you're arguing about our league position.
No, I'm not arguing. I'm arguing about the culture it sets and the example. Because
what do you mean the trophy's the culture that needs to be set?
Okay. Because next season. The players will have this in their minds. So next season, if the league
players were holding gold medals and biting them in their mouths when they were
okay. But they were holding those gold medals and were walking a very thin red line style. You know this, right? Because if they lost that final,
high risk.
They would have been
It was high
the
risk.
worst.
If it's
I
always
look, I look at this. I look at this. Wait. I look at this as people.
Stefan, I've agreed with you on this.
world-class
I said it was
and how
crazy
people
high risk. I've agreed
interpret.
with you on that. It was crazy high risk, but they
I
pulled
look
it off. They pulled it off. This is the thing.
No, it was.
See,
I just Mark.
it's the debate where people talk about listen, world class, right? And for me, I have very strict standards in regards to who's considered world class. Same thing with winner. Like the other day, I used Dave Matteo. Though he won 2 trophies for Chelsea, I don't consider him a winner like Conte or Mourinho or Ancelotti. Because with them, they've won the highest trophies. They have a longer sample size, And no disrespect to people in China or Australia, like
Murray, that's why I said he's a winner, but he's not a high quality winner. He's not a high quality.
Don't interrupt me.
You interrupt me too, but go on.
Yeah. I go by the standard of the top 5, the big 5 major leagues, right? And so he's won his first trophy, right? I may actually put Arteta in the same bracket because they both have won 1, right? They both have won 1 trophy. So for me, when the coaches that have won a trophy, but for me, I look at winner. I have a different standard for winner. Winner is someone who consistently wins. I'm talking about in soccer terms, in the top 5 leagues. Like if Edge brings a 2nd or 3rd trophy, I'm gonna say, okay, he's a winner, right? Other than say like Arteta, I don't consider Arteta a winner, but he's won a trophy. He's won an FA Cup, so that's how I view Edge, right? He's won a cup, but I don't consider Arteta or Ange a winner like Ferguson, Mourinho.
Yeah, we get what you mean. We get what you mean.
So that's my standard, and for me, I'm trying to scratch my head here and figure out where's this other trophy gonna come out, because I'm honestly think it's harder for me. More prestigious is the Europa League, but it's harder to win the FA Cup and Carabao Cup. And so I'm gonna be watching and seeing what he does this year if he's our manager, because
here's the issue. No, but here's the issue further that I have with Amari that Stelson. That culture that he said, where it's okay to bin the league because you're on a cup run. He acts like he's playing poker, but he's actually playing Russian roulette. And Russian roulette, sometimes you win like you did with the Europa, and sometimes you lose everything. So next season, those players will, from the culture that he said last season, which is, you know what, it's okay being horrendous in the league because we're still in the League Cup or we're still in the FA Cup. And the players are going to do the exact same thing, Stel, where they're going to put all their chips in one of those cups again. And there is a chance that this time you don't win. What happens then? That's the issue that I have with this type of culture. I get you're desperate for a trophy, and the context of you winning a trophy is the most important thing here. But long-term wise, Stel, this is not good. And next season, when I predict you'll be the same. You be terrible in the league and might do a run in the League Cup and in the FA Cup. And if you do a deeper run in the FA Cup, he's going to do the exact same thing, Stel. He's going to rest all his top players.
If he wins it, no one will care. And if he wins it, no one will care.
It's gonna be okay. You guys finishing 17th, 15th if you win cups.
Absolutely. What is it about? The game's about glory.
This is what it means. Let me just put it this way.
Listen, do you know what?
We finished 10th.
Alex,
We finished 10th. He takes the league more seriously. He feels the stronger team in the league, and he goes semi strong in the Europa League. We finished 10th. Come this transfer window, we have no Europe. Our players gonna want to join that 10th team, 8th, let's say 8th, 9th, 10th, or this team that have just won arguably the biggest trophy we've won in.
Alex, okay.
Hold on, let me finish. I'm not done. This trophy that now
challenge these comments. These comments need to be
and now brings us into the Champions League which players want. And I just have to say this. I want to dement your entire argument because I think you'll say yes to this. If Arsenal were in the bottom half of the table, really low, really desperate, because let's say Arteta threw the league away. He'd been the league. Not that it would happen. It would never happen. He would get sacked. It wouldn't be able to happen. But let's say that your owner came up to him and say, in the league, go all out for the Champions League. And he won it. You finish 15th. Wouldn't you take that?
I would take that because I would take that for the chat. For only the chat. If it's the FA Cup, no, he gets sacked.
You've won the FA Cup 5 years ago.
Yeah, no. If it's the Champions League, Alex, once. Yeah. Not another season, not another yo-yo season. Yeah, no. In terms of, I will give him the benefit of the doubt where he puts all his chips. What you're doing is what he did is he bet the house and he managed to win it. Next season, if he bets the house, it's not a guarantee that he wins it, that he wins something.
Yeah, but I don't think.
And if he loses something, okay, I get your point. The most important thing is cups and trophies. However, if you look at the way in terms of what Ange does after he wins something, it goes terribly wrong the season after. If you look at in Japan, what happened. So let's see how he reacts to this. Let's see who he buys. I am intrigued. I just don't think the culture is good. That's not a good to bet everything on a cup, on something that, let's be honest, a cup run, usually not the best team wins the cup.
It's not just the cup, it's getting exactly what those top 5 teams get. It's getting the exact same thing, but just with fewer games. That's all it is. Fan base needed more than anything. Any top 4.
That's true.
Give us top 4 5 years in a row. It wouldn't have meant anything close to what this trophy meant to us as a fan base.
That's true, but why is that? Because I finished in the top 4 with Poch 4 or 5. Yeah, because you finished 4 or 5 seasons in a row, so you experienced top 4, you experienced Champions League, and you're like, I want a cup. We haven't had a cup in 17 years, and you want a cup. However, I'm asking you guys, would you again be willing to finish 15th, 16th for an FA Cup?
100%. 100% yes. 100%.
I don't think he's going to have to bet the entire house next year if we go out there and sign 3-4 proper top-level experienced players in which you can go, this is
and as long as the injuries aren't
exactly. And if the injuries somehow, because we don't know the root cause of it, if it's just his training procedures.
I don't want to hear injuries. I don't want to hear injuries, okay? Because you guys gave me shit for Arsenal.
No, you're right. Fair enough. You're right.
Okay. I'm just saying that.
Can I just address
no injuries during their entire careers? No injuries during multiple years on a row. They come to Spurs and suddenly so there's clearly something wrong in that department. That's what I.
No, that's on him. That's on him.
Guys, listen, I need to go. I just want to quickly just address a couple of comments before I go to. I was only meant to come on for half an hour. Adam Hanif says, who should be known as bottlers now, United or Arsenal? Oh, yeah, that's right, Mike. I just want to address a few comments here, and then I'm going to go, right? You say the league is bread and butter. No, it's not. We've won 2 league titles in 140 years. People that say it's our bread and butter are misleading you. I don't know where we get this analogy from as Tottenham fans. 2 league titles, it's not our bread and butter. I'm sorry. Let's be real about who we are.
No, I think still what M means is the league is bread and butter by the fact that the league should be the most important barometer of whether you're a good team or not, which I disagree. You can win a cup and not do well in the league, but it does show for me a lot.
For me, right, winning trophies should be your bread and butter if you're a serious football club. If you look at the biggest clubs in the world, Madrid, Barca, Bayern, Liverpool, these clubs, they've won the most trophies. That for me is the bread and butter in terms of progression. Bro, trophies is progression. Unless you're winning trophies, then otherwise just bring Poch back and let's finish.
No, okay. So this season,
that's why I disagree with you.
Wait. So this season, have you progressed as a team because you won the
massively? We've won a trophy, bro. Massively.
Really? So
I would
your performances in your play and your players have progressed as players because they won the Europa.
The club has progressed because we've won a trophy. All of Europe's
the
talking
club
about it. All of Europe's talking about us.
We progress in terms of trophies, but not in regards to standard. I would say a true measure of progression would be finishing third next season and make it to the semifinals of the Champions League.
So bring back Poch.
Because I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Like I said yesterday,
hire Arteta.
I'm just saying. With Arsenal finishes second again. With Arsenal finishes second again and again. That's failure because they haven't progressed. They haven't crossed the line. But if you take, like for example, I use Sunderland. Sunderland comes into the Premier League. If they finish 8th or 7th, that's progress.
Murray, would you take progression or a trophy?
No, I mean I always take a trophy, but
exactly my point.
Progression, because of progression, not winning a trophy, right? Your team finishes second or third, right? And in the process, you get to the semifinals of the Champions League, and then within that process, Bergvall blows up like
Murray. No one cares who finishes second and third. No one cares who finishes second.
But the thing is, maybe it's philosophy. I don't know. Maybe it's a UK thing or American standard.
No, it's normalizing failure. That's what it is. The best teams.
A lot of the great. A lot of the great teams in sports. I'm not even talking about football. All sports, they have progressed into a dynasty, right? They had the starting point, and each year they improved. Once they crossed the line, they stayed on top, which I want.
That's not true. You have the best dynasties or teams also stay in, because let's be honest, by Stell's logic, then there are 19 teams that are failures every year. So that's every team.
You can't put us in the same bracket.
I agree. I agree.
For me, a well-run club. For me, a well-run club, like Mari just used the NBA. They don't win every year, but they are always there. They're always in the semifinals, in the finals, and they win. The San Antonio Spurs, for example, Mari will tell you, they were always there. They were either in the finals or they would win the finals.
Stefan, I don't expect to win every season, guys. I don't expect to win every season. I don't.
But that for me,
I want to say it's 5 minutes. I haven't been able.
No, guys. I have to go. I need to do this. Let me do this because I have to go.
One last question. One last question. If I give you a test, right?
Everyone wants to speak, but I have to go.
No. So if I give you a test,
what you said,
you got a D. The first time you took the test, you got a D. Then the second time you took the test, you got a B. Isn't that progression?
You heard this. You've said this. Can I just say, where has our progress been for the last 17 years? If you call progress going like this, where has our progress been?
Okay, progress. Okay.
I said trophies. It is a progress. I agree with you. Wait.
Guys, this is what I mean. This is what I mean.
I don't care about progression, guys. I don't care about progression. This is the thing. I don't care about progression. I couldn't care less if we progress. I want us to win trophies, right? If we finish second, semi-final, but we've progressed. Look, I don't care. I've been there. I had it with Poch. For me, I don't want to do that again. I'd rather win trophies. I'd rather win silverware.
Poch progressed you to this stage.
We won nothing, bro.
You couldn't attract the same amount of players. You couldn't build your stadium. You couldn't. There is progression. I know it's not. I know trophies.
Poch could have won trophies. Poch could have won trophies, bro. He could have. He didn't. He dismissed the FA Cup and he dismissed the Carabao Cup. He never took it seriously.
Sometimes too. You gotta be lucky sometimes, which we were lucky in the road.
Arteta said it. Arteta said it, and it is very true. No matter what people say, you have to be a little lucky, and you have to.
Arteta's normalized losing at your club, man.
No. In terms of
trust,
it's like the handball situation with Sissoko. If it was 2 years later, that doesn't happen, it's still.
I never heard Arsene Wenger say you got to be lucky. I never heard him say that.
The fuck are you talking? Arsene Wenger said finishing fourth is like a trophy. Stop it, Stel.
Can I,
Bro, this is a manager. Yeah, he said that because you're talking about the money of it, because that's where the finances are. He never meant it's actually a trophy. Look, let me do these quick questions, right? Terry O'Shea, 100%, Stefan. The normalizing losing thing is going to happen again. Winning trophies is not normalizing losing. This obsession with league position is why we don't win trophies.
It's a very fine line, Stel. It's so fine what you guys are doing. It's betting the house every year.
This year was the fine line. Angus says, still you have no standards. Bro, winning trophies is standards. Where's your standards? Where is your standards as Arsenal? Arsenal with this big club, you don't win trophies. You're talking about standards.
Are you seriously talking down to Arsenal fans about trophies, Stel?
Absolutely, under Arteta.
You won one trophy in 18 years, Stel. Can you calm down a little bit?
If you had standards, you would have focused more on winning.
If we had standards, whilst you were in fucking 15th, your coach stayed on. If we had standards, are you serious?
Yes. Right now, with Arsenal, where are your standards? You don't win anything.
Okay.
If Arteta doesn't win anything, in 10 years' time, no one's going to give a shit about we nearly beat City to the title.
That's true, but that's what
I went through this with Poch. This is what happened to us with Poch.
No, Poch is nowhere near Mikel Arteta.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Getting to Champions League finals, coming third in the league. We went through it. We went through it.
Poch to a final. Arteta hasn't done that yet. What you talking about?
Both will go down. Both will go down as having done nothing once they built their teams.
No, Arteta's still at Arsenal.
Arteta got the FA Cup.
Arteta's still at Arsenal. Like, calm down. Go on, Alex. Go on, because he's being so annoyed. Go on.
Can I just say this quickly, still, before you leave, Steph? When people talk about bread and butter, do you know which clubs have the league as their bread and butter? Bournemouth, for example. The league is the bread and butter for them. It's everything for them because their expectations going into the season is never trophies. Them finishing 16th.
Wait, they got bet. No, that's a lot. That's a lot.
Can I finish my sentence?
Go ahead.
Them Bournemouth finishing 16th and 8th it's a massive difference for them. The league for them is their bread and butter. For big clubs, the bread and butter for them is the league, of course. But it's not primarily about the league. It's primarily about winning trophies because clubs like Spurs that have finished second, third, fourth, fifth,
second once.
Where do people talk about us in terms of our bread and butter? It's primarily trophies and the league. It should go both together. Like the bread should be the league.
The only way they could win a trophy ever in their life is winning the Carabao Cup. The FA Cup and the Cup. Ask Crystal Palace. Ask AFC Rochdale. The only way they can win a trophy, and they're not even in the league, is to win the FA Cup, right? The Tamworths. The only way they can win glory is with the trophy. They know they can't do nothing when they get in the league.
Final question. Wait. Let me ask.
This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous.
Let me ask. Let me ask you and Alex.
People in the chat are talking out their ass. People in the chat are talking out their ass.
Yeah, I just ignore them.
Then I'm going to come back to them because I need to put them straight. But yeah, go on, Stefan. I'm going to come back to them.
I'm going to ask you guys because Alex was talking about attracting players and this and that. Arsenal didn't win anything this year. Spurs won something and had a better season than Arsenal. Wait.
Let me say this.
Alex, let him finish. Alex, let him finish. Alex, let him finish. Or I'm going to mute you. Let him finish.
So you and Alex have trophies are the most important currency. I agree. Okay, but you say this, right? Arsenal have not been as successful as Spurs, and both are in the Champions League. Is there one player right now that would choose Spurs over Arsenal? Not one.
No chance.
Exactly. So. So sometimes it can mask shit still. It can mask. No player is going to choose, for example, who's had a more... No player is going to choose Newcastle.
Players will always choose Arsenal over Spurs because you're regarded as a bigger club. No, because you've won more league titles than us.
Right now,
FA Cup. You're regarded. Who did Spurs get when we were finishing top 4 within years? Who did we get that you couldn't have got? Tell me.
Nicolas Pepe.
Nobody. They still got Aubameyang when they were below us. Who did we get? Fucking Vincent Janssen. Are we taking the piss here?
Stop using. You always use Vincent Janssen. He signed in 2015.
Because that's what he signed when you got Aubameyang.
No, Vincent Janssen signed in like 2015, 3 years before we got Aubameyang. You always use him as an example.
Who did we sign in 20? Do you know, we didn't even sign a striker. We just kept Kane.
We signed, I think, a year after Aubameyang, Vinicius. That was horrendous. He was horrendous.
See, that's who we attracted when we were above you. Arsenal will always get better players than Spurs on the basis you're a bigger club. The only way we can compete with you to try and get, if you and us went for the same player, the only way we can win that battle is on wages. It's the only way we're going to win that battle.
Yeah, but I'm talking about, forget the history. I'm talking about right now. If you're a player and you look at the way Arsenal is well run.
It is about the history because look at Man United. They're shit. They're in the mud and Buemo wants to go there. Cunha wants to go there. History matters.
Wait, Stel. We know why Cunha went to Man United. Come on. We know why.
Why?
Because of the money. Did you not read his wages?
What did I just say to you? Wages. I just said that. Wages.
But you're making it as out to be as if Man United, because of their heritage, Cunha joined them. No,
if Spurs went in for Cunha now, do you think he'd pick us over Man United? I don't.
If you offered the same wages as Man United, yes. If you both offered him 200K, if you both offered him 200K a week, and he chooses. And he has Champions League football and a more stable club, in my opinion, currently.
I don't think players look at that. I think players look at wages, and I think they look at the heritage of the club. Because to say I play for Man United is different to saying I play for Spurs, and I'm a Spurs fan saying that.
Yeah, still, I was going to
say you play for Man United. It carries weight.
Yeah, the only other reason, other than wages, as you mentioned, is if, let's say, there's somehow this player wanting to join us is somehow affiliated with Spurs. He's a boyhood Spurs fan, but not many players are. But let's say someone like Alex Scott, he wanted to come. He loved us. You know, the guy at Tottenham.
Bergkamp's a Spurs fan. He went to Arsenal.
Who?
He wasn't a Spurs. Can you stop with this fake narrative?
He is. He's a Spurs fan.
No, he has clarified this at least 10 times in interviews. His favorite player was Glenn Hoddle. He wasn't a Spurs fan. He said this.
Yeah, he's a Spurs fan. He's just trying to keep you on side, man. He's a Spurs fan.
Okay, he's a Spurs fan. Okay. Am I a fucking Inter Milan fan?
Everyone supports
because I liked old Ronaldo. Yeah, just
listen. People in the chat saying rubbish like Crystal Palace won a trophy and they finished 12th. Crystal Palace didn't qualify for Champions League. It's a different trophy. Like we're making that comparison. I don't get it. Like
no. The place where I think you're right, guys, is on the wages. Is you will offer Cunha probably 140K a week. Man United will offer him 200, and you'll join Man United because of this. But if you offer something on a similar level, I think easily he will join you guys over Man United. Right now, 100%. I don't know why players are joining Man United currently. It's such a shit show there.
Yeah, but you have to sell a project. That's what I was saying earlier.
Yeah, and that's where Arsenal and Arteta have done so well in terms of the recruitment.
Fine, but we have Ange in charge of our club. What I said earlier was that if he's the manager, then he can pick up the phone and say, "I'm the manager that won this tournament. I'm the manager that wants to take us here." If we bring in a new manager. And he hasn't even played his first game. Nobody knows what his style is. He hasn't established a relationship with the players. Like he doesn't have much to go on. He can say, "This is where I want to be," but none of it is factual. Ange has something factual. He can say, "I've won the Europa League."
Alex, do you know what the problem is? Do you know what's happened to football fans, right? And Spurs fans, sadly, they're the biggest victims. And Arsenal are becoming victims, but we are the biggest. This whole project, fucking hell, what happened to just winning? Glasner goes to Palace, no project plan, 18 months, win. Ange comes to Spurs, project plan, win. When I grew up, you win. Try to win. Nowadays, we've got a 5-year project. We're going to develop this. So many things can change in those 5 years, and I think we at Spurs are massive victims of this. And I think Arsenal at the moment, I think they might. Let's see what happens next year. I think they're trapped in one. But Man United project. There's no project.
You're picking the wrong club.
I'm gonna say that's not 100% true because
fans are caught up in it, Murray, too much. Progress, project, plan, win trophies, man.
I watched some documentaries. One of the best ones. I saw one about AC Milan and how they structured getting the Dutch three together. Like they had a plan. Yeah. But one of the best ones was Johan Cruyff with Barcelona and how he had a structured plan project which changed Barcelona.
He built their whole academy.
You have to have a plan. I get
revolutionized.
Barcelona won so many trophies before Cruyff turned up.
Yeah, but they deteriorated. When Cruyff came in, he revolutionized. He revolutionized Barcelona in regards to being.
I'm not saying don't have a project, right, Murray? I'm not saying don't have a project. What I'm saying is fans are so caught up in it. They're so focused, like at Spurs, Project Youth. Trust the process at Arsenal. We get told this stuff. All I'm saying is we get so caught up in these projects, we forget you got to win. You got to win, people.
Yeah, but still, there's winning is important. But I remember when Arsenal won.
Everything, Stefan. It's everything.
Okay, yes, but it's not everything. Also, Stoichkov, Hadji, great players, but in terms of winning, is also winning it in a way that's also sustainable for the long run. Yes, it's nice to win, but I don't want my club getting relegated 5 or 6 years later, like Leicester. Although the memories will always stay with me. What I remember was, as an Arsenal fan, us winning 4 FA Cups in like 6 years. And I remember those years where we would win those FA Cups. It was great, but it would paper over the cracks and mask what my club should be doing better, which was 1, to let go of Wenger, 2, to sign better players, to improve our scouting, and to do different, to change the club a little, revitalize the club. And what happens sometimes is winning that trophy, although it's the most important, I agree, it doesn't mean that it's everything. It doesn't, because sometimes it can blind you from the truth, like it blinded us with Wenger, like it blinded Man United.
Wenger won loads. He just came to the end of the road, Stefan. Wenger won loads. He came to the end of the road.
I'm going to be completely honest, though, and this Arsenal fans might kill. I would give up 2 FA Cups if we had removed Wenger. I'm serious. I would give up, because I remember those years. No, you guys don't understand. You have no idea. We'll
take those cups.
I would give up. Wait, and I'll tell you why. Because every season, guys, under Wenger, and it got worse with each season, slightly worse. It was like Groundhog Day. We would start really well in the league. We would be favorites to win. We would be first in the league until like December, January. February would hit, the worst month in Wenger's latter years. February, that was like the end. February would hit still. We would get pumped in the Champions League by Bayern Munich or some big team. And the whole team, because the culture was shit and needed change, was soft. And the whole team would collapse. Our league runs would collapse. And then we might do a little run at the end in the FA Cup, and it would mask the not the poison, but the decline within the club.
Stefan, Wenger came to the end of his time, bro. He came to the end of his time. Look at the continuity that Bayern Munich have. Maybe there it's not a good example. Wenger lost his touch in scouting players. Also, the markets
they allowed him. They allowed him.
Other clubs
allowed him to lose his touch still. They gave him. They saw he was declining. He became
Stefan. Wenger was the genius of tapping up players from France and Africa. Other clubs caught onto it, and they started doing the same. So his kind of
he was a pioneer. Still, from a pioneer, he was the pioneer in terms of
the rest
training.
copied, and they took it, and then they caught up with him.
But here was the difference between Wenger and Ferguson. Wenger was stubborn, and he was a pioneer in his first 10 years. Amazing, invincible, such good players, such amazing scouting. How he would find random African or French players from like nowhere. Amazing.
Yeah,
the problem was that he didn't evolve like Ferguson. Ferguson would change his coaches. Wenger would never do that.
Fergie always demanded success, trophies. That's why Fergie was a winner. Winner.
But that's my point. Wenger started treating building the stadium and finishing top 4 because it was financial peril for the club.
To be fair, that's not his fault, though, is it?
That wasn't. But okay, but my thing was that after 2012, Stel, when we had big money because of the stadium, when we had paid off pretty much all of the debt, we started buying Ozo, Sanchez, so for big money. He had no excuses. And what happened was the club gave him all the authority. The same mistake that Liverpool did, Stel. That's why Liverpool also declined under Klopp, where Wenger was hiring physios, hiring physios, hiring sporting directors. Klopp did the same thing. He hired his own sporting director, and Liverpool went down. They declined. They were not the same team that they were in 2019.
People, Stefan, look, people want to talk about progress and plans, and that great. The issue I've got is this. Unless you get a taste for winning, it doesn't breed the culture of winning. And you, as a club, are in danger of going down that road. It happened with Poch and Redknapp at Spurs. I've seen it happen at other clubs. If you don't get trophies, that hunger for more, that appetite for glory, it doesn't resonate in the play. See, the one nice thing about Spurs, if we get it right, let's see if we get it right. Young players like Lancashire, Mikey Moore, Gray, Bergvall, they've tasted it. And for a young player to experience that, they should be really hungry now. It will do them the world of good. So that will install something in the club if we build on it. If we build on it. If we just focus on get up that league table, get to 5th, get to 4th, where is the education to create a hunger for glory? And this is where, for me, the focus on the league isn't the right thing. If Spurs win, Alex, let me finish and then jump in, right? If Spurs win next year an FA Cup, maybe a Carabao Cup, maybe we drop back into Europa, we win it again, then you've got a culture of winning. Now what we can say is, do you know what? Let's focus on the league now. We know how to win. Let's grow and then target the league, then target the Champions League, because build that winning, trophy lifting mentality, then look for that progress. What Spurs fans are doing is, we've won one trophy, right, fuck all trophies, get second. No, keep winning trophies. That's what we need to do. But our fan base, it's a disgrace to come 17th.
Wait. Okay, no, I'm not.
I have to go, guys. I'm tired.
This is not regards to Stel, but this is just a Trung.
Stefan, you are bottle jobs.
Trung.
Big up, Stefan. Big up.
So you're telling me, right? I'm not talking about the domestic cups.
What is this?
Are you telling me, Trung, that focus on the EPL only if you think you're going to win it?
No.
That it's like me saying in football. I just don't understand that comment. First of all, you should be focused on everything. Everything.
You need a squad for that. You need a squad for that.
No, I understand. I understand. But the principle, even if it's preseason, right? The focus is you want to have a good preseason. That is an asinine statement. Like, only if you don't think you're going to win like Man City, then you shouldn't focus on that. That doesn't make sense.
Murray, right?
I will focus.
Man City bought their success, right? Man City bought their success. But hear me out. Let's look at two dynasties, Man United and Chelsea. So the Fergie era and the Abramovich era. Just before Abramovich.
Yeah.
Before Abramovich came, Chelsea were winning Cup Winners' Cups, FA Cups, Carabao Cups. They weren't winning league titles, but they built that culture of trophies. Then they progressed on and won leagues and Champions Leagues. When Alex Ferguson came, he won FA Cup, he won Cup Winners' Cup, he won UEFA Cup, he won League Cup. Then they went to the Premier League. What we as Spurs fans are doing is we've won the Europa, right? Fuck everything else. We've got to finish second. And what are we doing, man? We are at step 1 and we're trying to go to step 4. Step 2, win trophies regularly, couple of Carabao Cups in FA. Then we go to that. See, Poch, he went straight to step 4 and won nothing. And my fear is we're going to get caught up in project, process, plan. We're going to end up like fucking Arsenal. I don't want to be like Arsenal. They have become the new banter club. You said it to me, Mari. The Big Six, Turkish, Grizz, the channel. Arsenal are the only team to not have won a trophy in 5 years now.
5 years, yeah. And they failed. It failed. And I agree with you because
Arteta won the FA Cup. Because Arteta won the FA Cup.
Yeah.
And rather than winning it again and winning a Europa Cup when he was in it, he went from FA Cup to league. Bro, where's your steps?
Yes. But this is the last thing I'm going to say.
This is why I don't care about the league right now. I want us to win trophies. Put trophies in the cabinet. But when I have these conversations with Spurs fans, I'm embarrassing because I don't care about the league. It's your bread and butter. I'm like, no, it's fucking not. We're not there.
I would say, I get what you're saying. No, I want to get trophies, and I'm going to end the show soon. What I'm trying to say, what I'm trying to say is, and be a former athlete, right? I managed to finish 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th for the integrity of what I have to watch, for the integrity of you, Ian, Lubo, who go pay your money to go into stadium. But I want every game that you put on that badge. I want everybody from the top to the bottom try 110% best effort to win that game. Either it's 3 points or advance it into the next round. That's all I ask for my club. All I ask for my club is when you get on that pitch, I want you at 110% playing for that badge, trying for your best. I don't even care if we're in a regulation battle with 19th, right? You saw what team they fought off against Man City, Southampton. They fought like I want to be proud of a club that wins trophies, but in every competition, league, domestic cups, international cups, every time they put this jersey on, I want them to believe we are going to win. And if we end up being first to win the league, that's great. If we end up being fourth,
let me go.
That's great. As long as they leave it on the pitch, then I'm happy. But when I feel that if they're not giving their all, then for me, my heart feels damn.
Yeah, it should be bare minimum. It should be.
That's what I ask.
But more,
I ask.
I think the important thing to distinguish is that it's right now, and for us as a club right now, it's more important to win trophies than it is to aspire for the league. Because let me tell you what. We have number one. We have owner that I'm confident that. Let's say we were back in this 2nd, 3rd era. Levy is not the owner to give you that last push of financial backing to take you to the top. If we're going to go on that path again with the owner that isn't interested in making us Premier League champions, then why shouldn't our focus primarily it should be on both, Mari, but why shouldn't it primarily right now be on what we have shown realistic?
It's simple. Yes, you said win trophies. Alex, yeah, it's simple. You said win trophies. I'm saying simple. Win games. Just win games.
Yeah, but you can win 99%. You can win 99% of all your games during an entire year. But if you don't win that one game, win that one game in the final, then what does it matter?
You're both talking at the same time. No one can hear you. No one can hear you. You're both talking at the same time.
I'm like, win games. When you win a trophy, you won the game. You're not listening to me. Win games. That's all I ask my club.
Win games, but you know what Spurs have done for the last years?
Every time you're on that pitch, put your best effort.
I hear you. You're right. But
just win games.
Win 99 as we've done in many other clubs, and we can win 99% of your games during an entire year. But if you don't win that one game, if you don't win with that one game at the end, at the finish line, if you don't win that one game, then it's all to shit. It's all the shit.
I totally understand. I understand.
It's about winning. It's about winning every single game. But
when you're on that pitch, all I ask is for my for Spurs is put your best effort to win the game. Win games. That's all I care. Win games. Right? That's what we did in Europa. We won games, and that's why I celebrated. We won games.
It's not realistic. It's not realistic because again,
I understand.
We had this chat yesterday.
The mentality.
Can I tell you what the mentality should be, right?
Yeah. You
never play to lose. You never send your team out to lose, and you never set up to lose. But
that's what I believe. Yeah.
Right, hear me out. What's not being said is you never play to lose, but prioritize the cups. So if it means you've got to rest players and play a weakened team in the league so that you can win that cup game, prioritize the cups, because that's where we are as a club right now. If you look at our squad, Mari, we ain't fucking winning no Champions League and we ain't winning no Premier League. Even if we sign 3 really good players, we're still not winning.
But you want your best effort for those competitions, right?
Like I said, you don't play to lose, but we've got to be realistic. If I've got a good starting 11 and I've got a big Premier League game, but I've also got the quarterfinal of the Cup 4 days later, I'm resting my big players for that quarterfinal, and that means I'm going to sacrifice potentially a league result. The players that I send out, I'm still going to send them out to win, but they probably won't because the best players aren't playing, but the best players will play in the cup. Where we are as a club now, I think we should play to win every game, but prioritize the cups. Get into that winning mentality of trophies, and then we can say, right, now we got to build to win the league. Now's the time to do that. There's no way we're going to go from winning every week and challenging for these Premier League titles from where we are now. We are miles off of it, but we're not miles off of winning Carabao Cups, Europa Cups, FA Cups. We can do them. If Crystal Palace can do it, we can fucking do it. We can do it. No,
if we win the league next 38 games and we win the league next year, dude, you gotta have to stop me from running naked in the streets.
The Premier League.
It's always running.
The Premier League. Yeah, the Premier League.
We ain't winning the Premier League, man. We ain't winning the Premier League.
I know. My mentality. My mentality is
Liverpool's squad is better than ours, and they're signing top players.
I know that.
They're so ahead of us. Arsenal are a better squad than us.
Guys, calm down. I know that. But the mentality is maybe because I'm a counselor and I motivate people. I inspire people to do their best. Maybe that's the counselor in me. But I'm just saying the mentality is coming in. People say Leicester won in a weak year. But seriously, no one saw them winning the league, and they came in a game at the time. You know what I'm saying? Even if you're Sunderland, right? Sunderland's mentality coming into the Premier League, I'm not taking my
to survive, not to win a trophy.
But every game you take, because you never know what's gonna happen. I'm not taking my wallet and I'm betting Spurs are winning. No, that's foolish. But I'm saying the players, the mentality, you play. There's a famous phrase in America. This coach said this: you play to win the games. You play. Either you play Monopoly, you're playing cards, you're playing competition. And I used to play competition. I go win with the mentality that I'm going to win. I'm not saying that we're winning the league, but the mentality is, right? You ever hear the term act like you've been there before? You have to have that type of mentality. Because Stella knows, I did an episode about the mentality of this club for the last 15 years, other than this past Wednesday. It has been from top to bottom a loose. Mourinho talked about, Poch talked about it. and it affected Son and Kane and whatsoever. The loser mentality that has been cesspool at this club. It's because
we haven't won anything.
Because we never instilled them. You can
gotten close.
And that's all I ask is to have that mentality. Even if you're a major underdog, you have to have the mentality, the winning mentality.
Maury, can I just say this because I think still like he puts it perfect. As if you want to crack the code, if you want to crack the puzzle as a club, I think Stell is absolutely bang on. Because what he talks about going from step 1 to step 4, we've seen what it's done to clubs before.
You still have that same mentality. Go through the steps.
It doesn't work unless you're that miracle Leicester, which has only been one time in history. You can't rely on a miracle to occur. So what he says about building winning culture in that sense, what I mean is that not why you should prioritize the league, but we know it's not realistic to win now. We know cups are realistic for this squad to win. A league isn't. What I mean is that you should put more weight on them in terms of like when we come away from this season, we want to have a trophy in the back of our bag. We want to be high up in the league too, but what matters the most is the trophies. And I can counterpoint myself by
saying, the trophies.
But if you focus too much on let's say on the cups and it goes south and you lose the final, then you're fucked because you've all sort of poured all your eggs in one basket. But
I want us to do the best that we can do
winning trophies than trying to get second, third. That's not getting culture. Culture is winning trophies along the way as you progress.
No, there is I see that. I always disagree, and maybe because my faith.
This squad we have to
listen. Maybe because my faith and other things. There is a lot of learning lessons that you could gain from losing and failure as you progress. Some of the richest people in the world, some of the richest people, most successful people and teams, they had to fail. Michael Jordan had to be cut to be able to be the greatest basketball. If you believe he's the GOAT of all time, like there's a lot of examples in life where people fell off the bike, right, and then they rode on the bike and became able to ride the bike. Like I understand that the fruit, what you guys now understand, the fruit of success, right, is right. The eventual fruit, the icing on the cake, is the trophy. Yes, it's the trophy, but the stages along the way, there is benefits. There's foundation built. There's benefits to that, right? That's why I tell my students. This is what I tell people, my clients, when I'm in a counseling setting. You know what I'm saying? Because you're not always going to win. So what do you take out of in that situation you don't win? Okay, you look, okay, how can I be better? Okay, I did this good, but like it's all like it's a philosophy, it's a way of life that you progress into greatness, right? Greatness, you just don't get up out of the bed and be like, right? Even the same thing, Stell, you're saying, yeah, when you win cups, that's all part of the process. It's all part of the process, right? How you do in your league, how you do in the domestic cups. This, we hope, with Daniel Levy, we hope and pray now that these players got to taste this success. Now, Bergvall say, man, I'm going to kill it in the league and the domestic cups, Champions League. I'm going to try to be the new Luka Modric. Matter of fact, fuck that. Even better than Luka Modric. That's the mentality I want our players to have. As much as I don't trust Ange, I want Ange with that mentality like, yo, if life gives me a lemon, I'm going to try my best to make lemonade. I'm going to try my best, right? And if his best is get an FA Cup, I'm fucking happy. I'll get drunk again. I'll stream. We'll celebrate. I just want us to have that mentality for every time that we're on the pitch. You know what I'm saying? If the subs have to come in to prioritize that, then they need to have that same mentality. The problem is we're not seeing that even when our subs come in, right? We can all say, even when our bench comes in, right? And I agree with what's his name? Box office. I hate what's the term he says? I hate when they say backups. We should have backups. granted, Levy set it up that way, but that we should have from top to bottom to have the mentality. I want our team.
You can't have 24 starters in a squad. It doesn't work like that. But I get what you
No,
mean.
no. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying the mentality.
Yeah, you shouldn't bring in players that are like, okay with like being bench player all year and just collecting their paychecks. I get what you mean. They should want to. Yeah, but can I just say this too? Because when people mentioned project before, I think a project is bullshit. Not for us, but it can be bullshit because if you sign real proper quality that any manager can be happy to use, to be happy to use, it doesn't matter if you switch manager, if you go from that style to that style. If you have a Harry Kane, then a project isn't like, you have a top class striker that's going to work in any system, in any project. So like when we talk about this summer, what matters is that we go out and sign proper fucking quality. Because if we don't, then we're fucking over the next manager. We do it even if he fits this squad, a 3-5-2 wingback manager, he fits this squad more. But it doesn't matter. We fuck him over if you don't sign real quality. And what I meant to say is that keeping Ange, for me, gives us a better chance of doing that. It gives us a better chance of actually attracting players. Because we're at you can say, okay, we're at the end of something or we're at the start of something. I look to see it as in we're at the start of something, because if you can sell a project or a reason to join the club to a top player, then it's better to have that instead of a manager that's just come in, a Glasner, and that he's just gonna say, yeah, we're gonna try to make Champions League next year. It's not aspiring from top players to hear. They want to hear more. They want to hear that we're going to be after this season, and we've already felt the success of it last year. You want an established ground, an established reason to be able. So just to end it off, as the players are behind him, because they are behind him, the players are behind Ange, then I don't think you should risk cutting that you shouldn't risk cutting that bond off. You shouldn't, because I think if you sack him and bring in a Glasner, who is a really great manager. He's a great manager, but he's not this like shit, a Xavi or Simon Inzaghi, And if you bring in a manager like that, I think it'll disrupt this like family dynamic that Ange has created within this group. He's assimilated this. He's assimilated this feeling towards the group. He's gone through with them for 2 years, and he's built it up towards this top level of like, we won the Europa League, And I think you fucked that up. You fucked that family feeling up. One player is going to want to leave. Romero, 100%. It's like all the Argentinian journalists say, if Ange gets sacked, he's going to leave. Not because he thinks Ange is the best manager he's ever played for, but because he's sick and tired of this club always like running through managers. And especially now with the first
the Argentinian journalism, they were saying, and I spoke to one of them.
They talk a lot of shit, but all of them say.
So, Murray, guys, I have to go. I was meant to go 20 minutes ago.
Let's end the show. When is it? Wait, when is our next show? Or do we have any shows lined up?
No idea.
Okay, I know it's doing one on injuries.
I don't want to do any more shows. I don't want to do any more shows until the club tells us what's going on with the manager.
That may be next week.
You should do one about the Super Cup, about who wins the Champions League, and then that game will be finished. Maybe you can do like a.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I personally, that we'll figure it out. But I need a break, man. I've had a week of football heaven, and now it's civil war at Spurs, and I just need a break.
That's the name of the next show.
Well,
Civil War.
Let's take some thank yous for.
The name of the next show is going to be called "We Can Only Be Miserable." Que sera, sera.
Big up to Henry Tong TV. Thank you for the super chat. Big up to Sammy Mehmet for the super chat. Big up to Marlon Blade. Thank you for the super chat. Big up to Adam. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you for guys in the chat. Guys, once again, please keep it civil. Like I said, we all have a different opinions and stuff like that. It's football talk. We love talking football talk. And so, so this is, so you will see us maybe next week when we find out what is going on with Levy and Enoch with our club, and that's it. Levy out, come on, you Spurs. We are the champions of Europe.
Fucking
And
Spurs.
yeah, come on, you Spurs.
Don't be happy. You might get arrested.
Yeah. Come on, you Spurs.
The first game we look for, Robbie. Tottenham away. When we got Tottenham away.